and to sample our new digital channels, 5 Life and 5 US. Why wait when you can switch now? You'll need to make sure all TV and TV recording equipment in your home is set for digital. If you have any questions about switchover, help is at hand. If you're online, please log on to www.digitaluk.co.uk. Alternatively, call 08456 50 50 50 for straightforward help. So if you haven't tried our new digital channels as yet, we look forward to welcoming you to 5 Life and 5 US.
The miniature model murderer is still on the loose, but can Grissom and the team get to him before the next killing? All new CSI continues tonight at 9, exclusive to 5. But now we start our morning with some topical debate. Here's Matthew and the Wright Stuff.
This morning, are big families an eco-crime? Would having fewer kids help save the planet? Plus, don't call my bluff, not unless you're prepared to go through with whatever you're threatening. And Janie Lee Grace, she's here with advice on raising your babies naturally. It's the Right Stuff. Good morning and welcome to another Right Stuff. I'm Matthew Wright. Today is a Tuesday, the 8th of May, the start of the working week for most of you. And we're going to begin the show with the latest, or rather the lettuce weapons in the war on crime. Get it? The lettuce weapons. Seriously, there was this pensioner in Kent. Called George Smith, and he foiled an armed robbery at his local post office by clouting the blagger in the face with a bag of iceberg lettuce. The robber then ran off empty-handed, grabbed a nearby bicycle and pedalled away. It does make you wonder what might have happened if he had used a different weapon. For example, Les Dennis, a romaine lettuce.
Actually, I think that would have more impact.
It looks more weapon-like.
You wouldn't need a bag of them, you just need that
just
one,
the one.
You? Just that one. Look, does
that looks like that looks like...
Looks, that man flinched.
And then, of course, we've got the really heavy weapons here for Anne Diamond. This is known as the round lettuce.
I thought I was going to get a frisee.
Oh, oh dear.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
but it's a formidable weapon.
It is a formidable weapon.
Hitting you full in the face, don't you?
It would
Absolutely.
be, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. So,
I'm not going to start.
From such vegetable matters to a meeting this morning's special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Ruth Badger. And no, I haven't got any lettuce for you. I can't think of any other varieties.
Yeah, I don't need a weapon.
You don't need a weapon. This is a really sorry lettuce. We'll put him down there. Now,
sugar. Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine his horror.
now, she may have finished second to Michelle Dewberry in the last series of The Apprentice, but Ruth has been on a winning streak ever since, so becoming a TV star in her own right. Back on screens tonight with a new show for Sky One called Badger or Bust. And it's not about killing badgers, presumably.
Absolutely not. No, it's about saving businesses in Britain.
OK.
And it's weird that it's called Badger or Bust, because obviously it's me saving businesses that are going bust, but also going to businesses that are struggling and manage them as only I can, back to perfection, really.
And you're doing this, she was telling me beforehand, by the way, entirely on your own.
Yeah, I mean, the weird thing is certain people have made comments. I want to make it clear, it is me and the team, i.e. the company that I'm going into. So I walk into a company and straight away, obviously, their backs go up. And what I've got to do is literally, and I've got to literally establish what's going on, where the problems are. And to be fair, it's not that hard because everybody wants to tell tales and everybody else, which normally you look at the person who's doing the majority of the talking and say, well, actually, what do you do? And then I identify the problems and take over the company, which the MD's normally got a problem with, everybody with the attitude has got a problem with, and unfortunately...
They've all seen The Apprentice.
Yeah. But the difference is, I mean, they get something out of it, and I can't... I mean, obviously, The Apprentice proved that I could sell. This shows sort of my business acumen. And I go in, and whether they like it or not, I drag them through the process until they get to where they need to. I mean, let's put things into perspective. These are companies, some of them are going out of business and their staff don't know. So I walk in and I've got like 15 people and they don't know that their jobs could be literally going within a matter of days. And I'm sitting there with all the headache and the nightmare and just me and this brain to put it right.
Have you perfected the finger yet? You're fired. You've tried it.
Try that with the lettuce, then. Just one more time.
You're fired. Well, that works.
For legal reasons, I can't sack anybody, but there is somebody that comes very close to the wire next week.
OK, we have a nice little clip of you in action. Have a look at this.
The Badger's been at Red 7 for 3 days. She's gathered all the evidence she needs, and now it's time to lay down the law. Badger style.
Right, can I get everybody together for a quick meeting, please? Right, do you want to come closer? Today, things change. Ruth's rules. I'm now going to tell you what's going to happen. There's certain things that are going wrong with this business that I'm going to put right. And it starts, number one, with staff.
Oh, God, you're scary, aren't you? No. You said earlier, you said everybody thinks you're scary, you're not really.
I'm just to the point. I mean, this company needs to be improved. Red 7, fantastic company, got the best job in the world selling hen and stag weekends. And the staff, when I walked in there, bunch of great people, the moment they pick up the phone, they're like planks of wood. And I'd literally got to thrash them. They're more interested in drinking in the pub than they were being in the office, and obviously that changed.
What a terrible thing. What a terrible thing to do.
That bloke next to you looked really happy, didn't he?
That's the MD of the company.
How is it?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm glad to have you here, really am, and I've really enjoyed meeting you already, actually, before we came on air, so let's see if we can continue without us falling out and doing bad business. we got some good talking points for you at home as well. We're going to kick off, though, first of all, with the headlines. Ruth will lead us through those. Our first talking point: are big families and eco-crime? Green groups, not me, right? Green groups reckon they are, and they claim a lower birth rate would help slash greenhouse gas emissions as there'd be fewer consumers, drivers, jet plane travellers and so forth. It makes you wonder why we bother taxing flights and Chelsea tractors. Maybe we should start taxing children instead. What do you say to that first? Then, don't call my bluff, not unless you're prepared to go through with what you're threatening. We're asking if ultimatums ever work. Marry me or we're through. It's another baby or a divorce. Stop drinking or I'm off. Has anyone called your bluff when you've delivered an ultimatum? Did you go through with it or did you bottle it out? I'd love your calls and stories on that. And then something slightly different. Say your prayers. It turns out at least one member of today's panel says their prayers every night before they go to sleep. And that got me wondering if every parent should encourage their kids to say their prayers, even if they're not believers themselves. Simple question. Love to know your thoughts. And we'll wrap up the show with a natural living queen, Janie Lee Grace. She's back on the sofa with advice this morning for any parent hoping to bring up baby as naturally as possible. So what kind of things can you help with, Janie?
Well, pretty much everything, really, to do with living a little bit more naturally with a baby around, being a little bit more green in the process, but of course without beating yourself up. Remember, I am imperfect. So we can look at breastfeeding, we can look at natural skincare, we can look at the whole debate of the cloth nappy mountain against disposables or eco-disposables. We can look at things to help you sleep or to help the baby sleep. And we've even got some fantastic nursing necklaces that jingle.
OK, and a lot of lotions and potions as well, by the looks of things to go through. Excellent, Janie. Nice to have you here as well. There you go. If you want to speak to Janie or you want to speak to us, you need to speak to the lovely Corin in the booth. First of all, Corin.
So if you want to join in this morning, the number to dial is 0207 173 5555. Calls are charged at the national rate from BT landlines. That's a maximum of 10p per minute. Calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. And if you don't get through the first time, then just keep trying. Or send us an email, send it to wrightstuff@5.tv or text us on 800 88. Text messages cost 25p plus a standard network charge, and not all messages will be shown on screen. Matthew, thank you very much.
It's taken so long, it's wilted. There's nothing threatening about that lettuce.
That's the subject later.
Oh, yeah.
Lettuce pray.
Let's do the paper show. What have you got for us, Ruth?
Well, there's 3 stories that have really caught my eye today.
OK.
The first one, and I couldn't literally believe it when I saw it, was in the Daily Mail. And basically, the headline is he winking at one? And it's the story about
He
the
is
Queen...
as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's when the Queen went to America and he basically started the conversation with, "You haven't been here since 1770." Oh, no, that's 1976. So not only is he saying that the Queen is over 200 years old, but then he does the unforgivable and he winks at her. I mean, the President of the United States, not only is it bad enough, I've just got back from America where everybody is absolutely taking the mickey out of him because he's dancing. Do you know when he's playing the drums dancing? Now we send Her Majesty over there and he starts the actual tour by winking at her. She then gives him one hell of a look and he says, "Oh, that's a look that only a mother could give." She's probably looking at him thinking, "What the hell are you doing? You've got something in your eye." But that's the first story, and that really shows to me exactly what sort of character we've got leading one of the most powerful
I agree.
countries.
Maybe he's not winking. Maybe somebody said, "If you look at the Queen, you'll go blind." And he said, I'll just risk one eye."
Is that what makes you go blind?
Honestly, I mean, you know, apart from the serious nature of things like wars, he is quite good value on every other front, isn't he? He really is highly entertaining. Yeah.
More so than anything else. But that was the first thing.
OK.
The second one really is, I think, the story that's gripped the nation and definitely gripped me. It's the story of Madeleine McCann. It's the update, front page of The Sun, and it's actually got the headline, Maddie's mother. Now, whatever anybody's opinion is on this, you know, I mean, my heart goes out to her and the family. But basically, they've gone on television and they've done a from the heart plea, saying, whatever you do, please don't hurt her. We need her. She needs us. And it's interesting. They've given the description of the clothes. But
eventually, I mean, it's taken them days to do that.
But I
they
think
said they had a suspect, and now that's mysteriously been recanted. They say they haven't.
Yeah, that's all down to the Portuguese police. I mean, I saw something yesterday which was questioning the conduct of them. They say they're not used to this sort of thing. Well, in my opinion, that's a good thing because it means it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah.
But when you see the search guards, people coming in and out of the borders, and they're literally sitting in the van because it's raining, then you've got to question the conduct. But they've changed the tack they're doing because they've got search dogs out, which realistically, for me, sends alarm bells. So I do hope that...
There's also the suspicion that it may not be somebody from Portugal. It may actually be a Brit on holiday who's out there doing this. So...
There's a lot of criticism about them leaving the children alone.
Yeah.
But this morning I had somebody on the radio saying that they'd been to that resort and that is kind of normal there because it's like a chalet patrol. There's a chalet patrol when you go to... Because you're within a safe environment, you maybe feel safer.
The problem is, though, I mean, last night I saw a view of the actual accommodation and the back door literally leads straight onto the road. I mean, I'm not a parent, but my nephew's 3 and he can literally run rings around me when I'm away and I'm in the room with him. So, I mean, regardless of what people think, what the family must be going through is horrific. But I sincerely hope that this plea does go out there and it actually brings it back in. Now, the last one is quite interesting to me because I'm a Wolverhampton girl and this was never an issue when I was at school. But it's actually in the Express and it's the school's education... Well, he's the race relations minister, Jim Knight. And he's basically saying, should we get all white schools and get them together with all Muslim schools to sort of bridge the gap? Now, as I say, I'm from Wolverhampton, so
twin them like with twin towns.
Yeah, and it's... Half of me thinks, is he making such an issue out of it? Because he's saying there's that much of an issue that we need to get them together. I mean, anybody who is not ignorant will understand that it takes more than one sort of religion or race to be in one country.
It's the notion that he's talking is sort of like there are schools that are all white and there are schools that are all of colour. And it's wrong that we should have those sort of so isolated, which seems to make perfect sense to me. I mean, you've got to question how they end up in that situation to start off with.
But the other thing I'd say, though, is that's just school. And, you know, the moment they go out to school, they will mix in all different sorts of circles. It's never been such an issue for me, I must admit, but that's because Wolverhampton is a very mixed environment. But it's just interesting that he's come out and said that. For me, anything that bridges the gap is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're kind of... Brighton's got a different approach now because they've got so much problem with over-applications for certain schools. They're doing on a lottery basis. So, in actual fact, now it doesn't matter where you live in relation to the school in Brighton. It's a completely random thing. So, hopefully, the schools there would have a better mix. It's a thought. It's a thought. All right, Ruth, thank you for that. What have you got, Les?
Well, the Mirror leads on page 1 and page 7 with the tragedy on the M25 yesterday. And wiped out on a stag night is the headline. Apparently, there were 13 guys on a stag night, and 7 of them, including the groom, were collected by car after the minibus broke down, and the rest stayed for the recovery vehicle. It's just the most appalling tragedy. Apparently, it's the worst single incident on the M25 recorded. When I heard that they'd got, 6 of them had got into the recovery cab, I thought, does that sound like too many? But apparently not. It's set up to
They've got
seat
double
7.
rows, yeah.
7 and the driver and 6 passengers. But, they won't know for days, they reckon, what actually caused the accident. But it is a
look at
terrible...
the cab, though, of that
There's nothing left.
It's, absolutely dreadful.
Okay, Les, anything?
The Express on page 1 and then goes on page 4 and page 5. The £450 tax bombshell.
Go on.
Gordon Brown is not going to be very pleased to see that we know now that we're going to have to pay an extra £10 billion. This is every family in Britain going to have to find £10 billion to fund gold-plated payments.
10 billion quid. Oh.
Well, you can.
Go on.
I know Emmanuel has.
10 million letters.
We need to get Sugar on the phone. He can solve it.
It's to fund gold-plated payments for retired MPs and Whitehall civil servants.
Oh, well, at least the money's going to a good
There you go.
cause.
We didn't hear about this in the budget, did we?
No.
That was swept under the carpet. But, they say, the Treasury say that the plans are affordable. Who are they affordable for? We're going to have to find them. And yet, still, at the Treasury, the bill for foreign travel and flowers is going up and up.
That is mental. I mean,
It is.
where is the sort of outsider looking in? They could do with me looking at the bills, couldn't they, to reduce me
go on,
further?
pitch for it
I
now.
don't know one family that can actually afford any more tax in the current climate, I'm telling you.
You thought about moving into politics?
Yes.
Okay. Which side do you bat for?
I don't, which is the weirdest thing. I don't because I'm not, most of the policies that both parties actually represent, for
Are
me...
the same.
Yeah, and none of them actually look out for the traditional family, or not even traditional...
So your own new party?
No, I'm not independent. At the moment, I'm too young and too busy, but in the future, I could see a future. Could you imagine me in politics, Matthew?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Prime Minister
could.
Badger.
What do I know about that?
You talk a good game. You certainly do.
There's some great headlines in there and wonderful, wonderful cartoons. Oh, you've definitely got to do
I
it.
guarantee one thing, Bush wouldn't actually wink at me. Are you winking at? Is there sun in your eyes?
It would be a great name, Badger, though, for a PM. You can just say it's just a headline writer's gift. What else have you got there?
Well, finally, very quickly, on page 8 of the Daily Express, Diana, postcards of Princess Diana have been banned from shops at royal palaces because they say, the royal family or the spokesman for Buckingham Palace say that only images of current members of the royal family should be sold. So it shows that they're still insecure about her legacy.
Yeah, but I'm desperate to get more postcards of Prince Edward. So that's good news. As fans of Edward,
Exactly.
there aren't many of us. Hard-working, dedicated royal, sharp dresser. Just a few of his qualities. Anyway, and what have you got down the end, though?
Oh, right. Well, I've got in The Guardian, Greater Manchester Police investigates a claim that it's got BNP members in its ranks. Now, these allegations have actually come from serving officers who were out at a big sort of BNP rally on St George's
Saw
Day.
their workmates walking...
And saw their workmates amongst the throng, some of whom allegedly had actual membership pins as well, so they weren't just there.
The BNP is not a prescribed organisation. It is
No,
a perfectly
absolutely.
legitimate political organisation.
But interestingly, the Chief Constable has made it clear that BNP members are not welcome in the Greater Manchester Police. No police officer or member of police staff may be in the BNP, and anyone found to be is likely to be dismissed.
Very difficult situation to be in because it is not an illegal organisation.
No.
It's the same as being not obviously the actual beliefs of the organisation, but it's the same as, being a member of the Labour Party or the Conservative, in the fact that it is a political organisation. But I
don't expel you if you're a Tory or something.
I actually
but they
thought
will
you
if
had
you're
to
BNP.
declare any professional sort of activity to the police. Because obviously it will bias the way you do your job.
What I'm worried about is the BNP keeps saying it's not a racist party. Asian and black police officers keep saying the police is riddled with racism. And if I was in the BNP, I'd be concerned that some people might think that I am racist. Because I'm a member of the BNP.
But if you actually look at their policies, they are racist. I think the BNP,
you may say that. They would only complain. OK, anything else from you, Anne?
Yeah, front page of The Independent, the euthanasia debate is sort of being dusted off again because the right to choose death, they say on the front page. The number of Britons with a terminal illness who are opting to die in that Swiss clinic, Dignitas, has doubled in the last year. And they're just sort of asking, is it time for a change to our law again? And Lord Joffe, who it was who tried to bring the sort of right to die bill in, says he's going to keep trying. And finally, parties that go wrong. You know, there was a story a while ago of a girl who's put out an invitation to her friends, and it got onto MySpace or YouTube or something like that, and millions came. Well, that's happened to Annie Lennox's daughter in a £1 million or £2 million house in Hampstead or something. And yeah, she sent out an email just to about 20 friends, but it ended up on the internet in some much bigger way, and the whole thing was gate crashed, and the place was completely trashed.
I shouldn't laugh, there is a brilliant line in it which listing all the people that gate crashed. And then in came the band, an old band.
Yeah, there was a band.
Walked into their house with their instruments, ready to play.
But tore the place apart. It actually wasn't where Annie Lennox lives, it's where her dad lived.
OK. All right, thanks very much for that. After the break, are big families and eco-crime? A new report claims limiting families to just 2 kids each will be the cheapest and most effective way to save the planet. What do you say to that? 0207 173 5555 is the number to dial. Are families with 3 kids or more, even those who force their kids to eat nothing but mung beans and organic carrots, I want to know if they're ruining the planet for the rest of us. Should we tax parents who just go on breeding? Are big families an eco-crime? You tell me in a minute or 3. Each child's carbon footprint is worth how many return flights from London to New York? Would the answer be 62 flights, 162 flights, or 620 flights? Find out after the ads.
Hanging from a pine tree by my knees, sunshine through the shade. Nobody knows what it's all about. It's too much, man. Let it all hang out. Let it all hang out. Let it all hang out.
Brewed with citrus hops for an effortless taste. New Foster's Twist. Laid back lager.
That was a great party.
Look at the state of our kitchen.
To make the most of your retirement, having enough money can be very important. Key Retirement Solutions offers an independent guide to equity release plans that can help you unlock cash from your home.
This is just what you'll need for our cruise.
So you can enjoy life and still go on living in the home you love. If you're over 60, call Key Retirement Solutions now on 0800 401 401 for your free independent guide to releasing cash from your home.
Want to make low-cost international calls? Then you better get smart. Call Europe from just 2 pence a minute, along with many other countries at great prices. With Smart, you can sign up today and start saving straight away with £6 worth of free calls. To open a Smart account, call free now on 0800 949 6666 or visit our website at smartaccount.co.uk. Get low-cost calls, get dialing, get smart.
Verrucas. Warts. Fight them with Bazooka. Britain's best-selling, fully licensed treatment for warts and verrucas. Bazooka offers a painless treatment. Quick and easy to apply, it gets to work without fuss, without freezing. And with Bazooka Extra Strength, there's no more effective medicine for warts and verrucas. So ask your pharmacist for Bazooka. And Bazooka that verruca, Bazooka that wart.
Juggling your life can be stressful at times, and that's when you need Calms. Calms is an effective, natural remedy that helps you to stay in control. Because when you're in control, you can do anything. Stress, don't let it hold you back.
If you want a hard-working personal injury lawyer, call Injury Lawyers for You on 0845 345 4444. We work hard because we spend all day fighting for you. And we fight hard because we want to make a difference to you. Call us now on 0845 345 4444 for free, honest, professional advice and assistance on your personal injury claim. Injury Lawyers for You. 100% lawyers, 100% compensation.
Dear Diary, I've had the strangest experience. I met a giant talking robot, I've seen technicoloured poodles, attended kung fu school, and dined on animal parts that, frankly, I don't want to think about.
Oh, that's horrible.
If it hadn't all been filmed for a series on 5 starting 21st of May, I don't think anyone would believe me.
Every child's carbon footprint is worth how many return flights, London, New York? The answer is 620. Thank you very much. We've already started the arguments here. You're watching The Wright Stuff, of course, with Anne Diamond, Les Dennis and Ruth Badger. Still to come, Don't Call My Bluff. If you issue an ultimatum, marry me or I'm off, for example, should you always be prepared to go through with it? 0207 173 5555 is the number to bring with your stories. First up, and this is what we're arguing about, are big families and eco-crime. I mean, I really can't believe it. It was just days ago that we were asking on this show, are big families selfish? And now a new report from Green campaign group, the Optimum Population Trust, accuses large... Just trots off the tongue, doesn't it?
Popular front of Judea.
And they've basically accused large families of ruining the planet for everyone else. Yes, forget about gas-guzzling 4x4s, air travel and burning conventional light bulbs. The real damage is done by the people who use these things. Fewer people would mean less consumption and therefore less greenhouse gas emissions. It's simple. The Trust believes the cheapest and most effective way of saving the planet is for families to stop at 2 kids. Those who don't, who go on clattering up the planet with more and more children, should be frowned upon in the same way as those who leave the lights on, make unnecessary car journeys or throw away their plastic shopping bags. It turns out that a 35p condom could be the most effective weapon in tackling climate change. This isn't me. This is not me saying this. This is the Human Optimum Population Trust. Now, each new human life in the West will produce 750 tonnes of CO2 in their lifetime. It costs around 30 grand to offset all that pollution. With 10 million more people expected to be born in the UK by 2074, the bill for all that extra greenhouse gas will top the £300 billion mark. All of which got me wondering, if human population growth is one of the biggest causes of climate change, why are we bothering with extra taxes on flights, fuel, gas-guzzling cars and so on? Why not just impose a tax on babies? It's not such a crazy idea, Anne. In China, families have to pay fines anything from 300 quid to 1,300.
And in Australia, you get a $4,000 bonus if you have one extra kid.
That's right.
Yeah, and there's so many countries in the world who are very, very worried about zero population growth. I mean, this argument just reminds me of the sort of head teacher who says, oh, my school would run much better if I didn't have any pupils. Or like the BBC,
well, it would,
who claims that, the BBC would be a far more efficient organisation if it didn't make programmes for people. and the planet is something, we're here, we're on it already. And I think, yes, of course, if you think that the population our world population is staggeringly growing. And yeah, you could say we could solve all these problems by just stopping breeding, full stop. But you just can't do that. We've got to be practical.
But they've done it in China. I mean, they've had to do it in China because
and look at the terrible human suffering that's been caused because of it. You can't do that.
What would the terrible human suffering been like if they hadn't have stopped it? If they'd just been allowed to continue?
Our society is based on the fact there has to be a new generation. Children are our future. There has to be a new generation coming in, working, earning money, paying taxes to keep us in our old age. Thank you. My kids, yes, all right, I'm the mother of 5, got 4 surviving children, and they will be working to keep us. And that's the way we've built our society. And all right, you could say that is fatally flawed.
So you need 4 people running around looking after you in your dotage, not just one?
But you see, what you've also got to bear in mind is that my last one, that is probably going to be, after Ruth, Prime Minister, if not President of the world. And he's going to save the planet, because he's that sort of kid. And so just watch out, is all I can say. I've done my bit for England.
OK, Ruth, would you go with the theory? Would you go with the theory that people that have more than 2 children are more damaging to the environment than people that drive big cars?
No, I mean, the first thing I'd actually say is there's no way you can ever limit a family because it's their choice, not anybody else's.
But you can tax them.
Oh, well, this is interesting because you'd actually expect me to go, that's a good idea, but actually, no, it's not. On paper, the fact that you could tax, it's similar to the poll taxes in how many heads per house, and look at the anarchy that caused. For me, my head says, on paper, for tax purposes, was it work? Yeah. But I actually think that it's absolute rubbish, and big families are the families that actually suffer financially anyway, and all you'd actually be doing is putting more pressure onto them. And I don't actually think anybody can play God. It's down to two parents to how many children.
What about
they actually
social?
have.
You know, I am being urged by every newspaper and thing in the land, don't drive a gas-guzzling car.
Tell me about it.
It's a call that I ignore successfully.
But that's
every
nothing
day.
to do with. Let's put.
But no one is saying stop breeding after you've had two kids, or think about it at least.
Yeah, but that is nothing to do with the environment. That is to do with tax and money, and it all comes down to the same
People say
situation.
that big gas-guzzling cars are bad for the planet.
Yeah.
I'm saying that children, excessive numbers of children, are worse for the planet.
I agree that if you've got 2 or 3 or 4 children, you don't need a 4x4 to take them to school. I agree on that point. But I actually think that when you're talking about gas-guzzling cars and actually stopping human life, they're two separate things. If you actually incentivise people to recycle more, i.e. every time you recycle...
I'm not going to recycle. People are going to carry on having sex, producing more and more children, producing more and more waste.
You're not talking like
I'm on a lose-lose scenario there.
Have you got any kids?
Huh?
Have you got any
no,
children?
No, none that I know of.
You see, maybe it's the guys maybe having more kids that they don't know of. They should be taxed.
Yes.
Yeah, they should be taxed.
No, I think this is just another example. Even the environmentalists are joining the nanny state and telling us what to do. I'm fed up of being told what to do.
Maybe we need to be told what to do.
We should be responsible enough to know that we should have maybe a smaller family. Big families are happy families, and you know, until George Bush stops winking at the Queen and gets a handle on what's happening in the US, what we do is just a drop in the ocean. And yes, we should do it, but you know what I think we should do? Wear condoms and turn the light off.
It makes you think, doesn't it? I really am not being... I hope I'm not being disingenuous here. I think it's a really fascinating debate. As, you know, we're being lectured all the time about how we should live our lives, and yet how people live their lives in the very basic sense in terms of their families, how many kids they have, could have the biggest bearing of all on how the planet's future evolves. So let's find out whether or not you feel we should tax big families or persuade people in any other fashion to have fewer children, Corinne.
Let's hear from Sarah first in Bournemouth, then on line 2.
Morning, Sarah.
Morning.
So what do you reckon? Tax larger families?
No, not at all, no. I still have a little bin. I have 3 children. And my lid on my bin closes.
How old are these children at the moment?
3 under the age of 7.
So none of them are actually driving yet or travelling on aeroplanes?
They don't drive. I don't drive. But when we do go on holiday, I will pay more or less full price for a child to sit on my lap.
OK, and these children will eventually grow up into fully fledged adults. And so you'll have produced 1/3 more waste on this planet, haven't you? With 3 kids, that's one more than the average of 2.
Yeah, but then we owe for what we've created in the past and what we've done now then. And surely we have a debt to pay if the children are going to pay from this day forward, so to speak.
And who knows what your kids may one day be capable of? I mean, you might have a Nobel Prize winner there, somebody who's going to save the planet.
They're telling me turn off the light bulbs at home. There's going to be, if they all 3 go off and marry or have partners and live in separate houses, that's a whole house worth of pollution that they're going to...
I mean, it's interesting what Sarah just said. You know, every time she gets on a flight, she'll pay the extra, she'll pay for a full price. There's tax on fuel, there's tax on cars, there's tax on... You know, they're even not emptying out bins.
No tax on aviation fuel,
there's a tax on everything. So one way or another, people who have more children will end up paying more by the nature of the beast anyway.
So it all balances out?
Yeah.
OK. Sarah, thank you for the call. Corinne?
We've got Michelle now from Bracknell on line 1.
Morning, Michelle.
Morning.
Is it an eco-crime, then, to have large families?
Absolutely not.
What makes you so
In certain
sure?
countries in the world, you're paid to have more children because we're running out of children.
And in other countries, you're paid not to, so that
And
balances that argument.
China,
Yeah.
You exemplified China, what horrendous things they do to their disabled and female babies in that country.
And what terrible things they do to the planet, destroying all the excess microwaves and batteries that we produce in this country. And, of course, everybody with a large family, 3 kids, that's 1/3 more mobile phones that are going to be sent to China with kids that will end up with horrible birth defects as a result because of you, Michelle.
Use those things. I don't use my microwave. I think it's an abhorrent creature.
So you're just going to keep dragging her around from house to house? You're not going to send it to China and let the children there dismantle it over open fires?
No.
OK.
My children are raised to walk to school, use their bicycles. They're taught that if they buy something, they should dispose of it environmentally, they should recycle. Like the lady before, my wheelie bin's never full.
OK, but these children will eventually grow up into adults?
They certainly will, and they'll contribute towards the planet in many great ways.
And also to the pollution?
Absolutely, but then again you could say, what about single people who live in a house the same size as mine? They use the same carbon footprint as me because maybe they fly all over the planet.
My house will be smaller. I'll put money on it.
Pardon?
My house will be smaller. Huh?
And I bet your wheelie bin's
I don't have a wheelie bin. I don't have a bin at all. Well, it's an interesting story, Les, because Camden don't provide wheelie bins for ordinary members of the public, despite the fact they charge $2,000 a year to live in the borough. And so you have to. It is. So I bought my own bin, and I thought to lift the area up, I'd buy a nice shiny metal silver bin. Someone nicked it.
That doesn't surprise me.
Nicked my bin.
Maybe I'm the one that's going to save the planet because I'm doing a run for Kenya, in Kenya this year for Planet Earth, you know, for the show that David Attenborough does. And I got an email the other day through that said, Les Dennis, saving the planet. So maybe it's me.
Does it feel good?
Said that.
Does it feel
Les
good?
Dennis, saving the planet.
Does it feel good, though, to be thanked for saving the planet?
Exactly, I haven't done it yet.
Let's take another call. Michelle, thank you for that.
This is Sarah from Newcastle on line 3.
Sarah, good morning.
Hello.
Hi there. So should we tax large families, Sarah?
No, it's absolutely ridiculous. I was just thinking it doesn't make any economic sense whatsoever. If you only have 2 children, you're not actually replacing yourself in the population. So
you are replacing
yourself.
yourself.
Not, because not everybody grows up to have other kids, you see. So it doesn't make any economic sense to only have 2 children. It's actually a population growth of less than 0. So you actually need to have more children than 2 to actually
Hang on.
Well,
So what would be wrong with having fewer people living in Britain?
Well, it would be really bad for the economy. Economic growth depends on a certain measure.
Yes, but expenses would go down. We'd need fewer schools, fewer hospitals, fewer road building programmes, fewer houses, fewer water consumption, less fuel, less carbon. You know, it's a win-win scenario.
I know, it's just hilarious, isn't it? I mean, you can see as well how silly this argument is.
No!
Yeah, you're fighting a one-man war.
No! Can you imagine, you know, turn it back down to the Middle Ages or indeed the Dark Ages, another favourite period of history for me. And, you know, you're looking at maybe 8 million, 12 million people living in the whole country. Imagine going out on a bank holiday Monday and driving without having anybody blocking your way,
Yeah, but you
Sarah.
wouldn't be able to find a doctor to cure a disease. You wouldn't be able to find a plumber to mend your drains, you know, because they just wouldn't exist.
Driving, you said, as well. Driving, that's using.
What about the Polish people? They fix pipes, don't they? So you could get a plumber.
They've probably got 0 population. I know Italy's got 0 population growth, and they're really worried about this. I'm not sure what other European countries.
Italy, you say?
Even
nice
Italy.
Weather too.
Absolutely.
OK, well, we'll leave that one there, as obviously no one believes a word of what I'm saying, or indeed the Optimum Population Trust, who we can conveniently blame for that last discussion. After the break, we're going to move on to our next discussion, which is ultimatums. If someone said, marry me or I'm off, would you? What if you didn't, but they didn't leave either? Would you believe anything they ever said again? If someone gives you an ultimatum, would you have called their bluff? If you have, what happened? 0207 173 5555 is the number to dial. That's your thoughts on Don't Call My Bluff, straight after the ads. The word bluff originally meant a stretch of coastline, a naked body, or a sinister threat. Find out after the ads.
Delicious, mouth-watering fruit. Smooth, dark chocolate. Light, crispy cereal in a bar that's less than 90 calories. That's pure bliss. Bliss bars from Special K.
Verrucas. Warts. Fight them with Bazooka. Britain's best-selling fully licensed treatment for warts and verrucas. Bazooka offers a painless treatment. Quick and easy to apply, it gets to work without fuss, without freezing. And with Bazooka Extra Strength, there's no more effective medicine for warts and verrucas. So ask your pharmacist for Bazooka. And Bazooka that verruca, Bazooka that wart.
It happened at this factory where I work. The forklift reversed without looking and crushed me. I couldn't pay my mortgage or the bills. I needed compensation.
If you had an accident, the National Accident Helpline could help you claim the compensation you deserve, and you'll keep 100% of it because the costs are recovered from the other side.
I received £12,000 and my company has introduced new safety measures.
Call the National Accident Helpline now on 0800 556 557.
Where do I go for a loan? Is there anyone who can help me?
Yes, here at Norton Finance we have thousands of satisfied customers, and this is typical of some of the things they've said about us.
My credit rating wasn't very good, but Norton Finance quickly helped me with the loan I needed.
Although I'm retired, I had no problem at all arranging a loan with Norton. They're very helpful.
Yes, Norton arranged a large loan for us to pay off all our debts and credit cards.
Yes, we have only one monthly payment and find it so much easier to manage now.
I wanted a loan without excessive charges, so Norton found an interest rate that suited me. I was so impressed.
Yes, with our technology we can search the loan market and from hundreds of different plans help find the loan that is right for you. Whatever your circumstances, if you're a homeowner, call us now on 0800 408 1265 and see how we could help you. That's 0800 408 1265.
Spending too much on your gas and electricity?
You got to switch! What?
Switching supplier with uswitch.com could save you up to £325 a year. Switching is easy. Our free impartial service compares the prices and features from different energy suppliers, helping you find a great deal. To save up to £325 on your energy bills, visit uswitch.com now.
If you have 5 years no claims, we can guarantee to protect your no claims discount for life. Call us on 0800 888 999.
That was a great party.
Look at the state of our kitchen.
To make the most of your retirement, having enough money can be very important. Key Retirement Solutions offers an independent guide to equity release plans that can help you unlock cash from your home.
This is just what you'll need for our cruise.
So you can enjoy life and still go on living in the home you love. If you're over 60, call Key Retirement Solutions now on 0800 401 401 for your free independent guide to releasing cash from your home.
So the word bluff originally meant a stretch of coastline, a naked body or a sinister threat. The answer is a stretch of coast. Welcome back. Thank you to the Wright Stuff. Live on 5 with Anne Diamond, who's been crushing lettuces over the break, Les Dennis, who's been covered in crushed lettuce, and special guest Ruth Badger, who's mercifully escaped any problems with lettuces so far, but it's still early days. Still to come, say your prayers. Do families that pray together stay together? What I actually ask is, should every child be made to say their prayers every night, even if mum and dad aren't believers? That's really the issue. And don't forget as well, Janie Lee Grace is back with us this morning, and today she's got hints and tips for parents hoping to raise baby as naturally as possible. So if you want to find out about everything from organic, wholesome baby foods to eco-friendly toys and natural teething remedies, Janie's your woman. 0207 173 5555. First, though, don't call my bluff, not unless you're prepared to go through with whatever you're threatening. Earlier this week, Coronation Street's Ken Barlow, he ain't boring, he threatened to walk out on wife Deirdre. Take a look at this.
Deirdre! Look, we can't go on like that. Please, please, talk. If you go now, I won't be here when you get back!
Oh, that's you in a nutshell, isn't it? All talk. Don't wait up.
The question is, was he bluffing?
What are you doing sitting in the dark? Where's Ken?
Gone. You're drunk.
No, I'm not. Gone? What do you mean, gone?
What do you think I mean? Packed his case and gone. You needn't act so surprised. He said as much at dinner time.
There we go, indeed. Ken is now staying at the local B&B, and if you believe what the papers say, ultimatums didn't work for Kate Middleton either. She was supposed to have given Prince William the choice, propose or call it quits, and he chose the latter. Maybe, if she'd laid off the pressure, she'd still be in the running for future Queen of England. Who knows? Another interesting example, Body Shop founder Dame Anita Roddick. Now, she famously wrestled with the consequences of making threats when she told her own firm, the cosmetics giant, to support her anti-war stance during the First Gulf War, or she'd quit. Now, luckily no one called her bluff, but Anita regretted making the ultimatum, as she said she was haunted by the thought, well, what if they did? You know, what if they did call my bluff? So, do ultimatums work? I suppose bringing it right down to family level, are parents who threaten their kids with, you know, do that again and you'll get a smack, are they making a big mistake if they're not prepared to give little Johnny or Jenny the back of their hand? Do you always have to carry out your threat if you deliver an ultimatum, Liz?
Well, I think that ultimatums are very risky things to do. I think that you are putting somebody under a pressure, you know, in the sense that if somebody wants to get married, they want to get married. There's no point you saying to them, if you don't do this, then I'll go. Because it's mind games. It's playing with other people's emotions.
It's how you really feel. You know, I need to...
That screams desperation, though.
Well, I'm thinking, say a woman, 35 years out of age, been with the same guy for 10 years, she's desperate for a child, he's not that interested, and you know, she is facing a now or never scenario in her life. It's either a baby now, or I will have to go and find somebody else and see if I can persuade it with them. I mean, that is a scenario that women I know have faced.
And that's called lose-lose. I mean, there's one word that sums up giving, and it's always about saying you're going to do something and then not doing it. It's your credibility. Whether that's on any front. I mean, how many parents have I seen say, if you do that again, I'm going to smack you?
Yeah.
Not that I condone that sort of discipline. I'm going to count to 3, 1, 2, and then the kid carries on doing it, and the parents do nothing.
Crying wolf, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you lose credibility in any situation. If I actually had to back somebody into a corner and said, you either marry me or you lose me, and they said, listen, I'm not going to marry you, then I'll lose both ways.
Would you do it in a work front, do this,
You can't. You can't. Any manager who says, this is what I expect, if you don't do it, I'm going to take this action and doesn't, realistically, those are the companies that I'm going into on my new show. So I see it firsthand. It's all about credibility.
So, if you are going to make an ultimatum, you have to carry it through.
But you shouldn't make ultimatums willy-nilly. You shouldn't say, if you don't do that, You shouldn't do that. You should be serious about it. I mean, I feel very sorry for Kate Middleton if that's the case. But what she's tried to do is back somebody into the corner. The desperation of a 35-year-old woman, you either have a baby with me or I'm leaving you.
Yeah.
What will happen is he'll say no and she won't leave him. And then she'll just be unhappy anyway.
I don't know.
I was going to say, maybe the only time to issue an ultimatum is if you're absolutely sure inside your head that you are happy to live with the consequences if it doesn't go your way. So, I mean, maybe it was the right thing if Kate Middleton did do it, because there's no doubt she can't hang around forever. And maybe if she was really sure and said, all right, either we marry or this has got to end, because a relationship has to progress. And if it wasn't progressing, then the only right thing to do was to walk away from
And would
that.
you say the same on the woman desperate for a baby scenario?
Well, I think so, yeah. I mean, either you're with somebody who understands the pressures on you, or you've got to go away and look elsewhere because you're running out of time yourself.
That's about lack of understanding in the relationship, though, because you'd know what position you were at.
Yes, well, you could argue as well that if you get to that point where you are happy to live with the consequences, then maybe you shouldn't be in there anyway.
But I'd guess that about 80% of people who actually issue ultimatums don't go through with the consequence anyway, which is the key point, which is where, you know, if you threaten somebody once and you don't do it, you ain't going to carry on doing it.
It's yourself a get-out clause as well. If you're going to give an ultimatum, say, if you don't marry me, I'm going to the shops. Just under the bed. Say out.
Yeah.
I'm going to the shop.
You save face and you do a bit of retail therapy.
But It's the first time I've had respect for Ken Barlow. Let's put it that way. It's the first time I've ever looked at Ken Barlow and thought, I like you.
Yeah, but he'll be back. You know he'll
Yes,
be
he will
back.
be back. He'll be back. So maybe there's a middle way, as Tony Blair likes, that maybe in that scenario you have your argument, you throw your toys out the pram, you storm out of the house and say, that's it, I'm gone. You never said you weren't going to come back, as you said. So yeah, I think Les, you're onto something there. What does our audience have to say about this, Amal?
Thanks, Matthew. Kathleen, I know you're a fan of ultimatums. Do you ever?
You're a fan of ultimatums.
You are a fan. Do you ever not go through with them?
Always not go through with them.
Do you think that weakens your position?
Yes, of course it does. But I think also if you have to make an ultimatum with someone, there's something not right. Because I do this with Jim and he digs his heel in immediately and won't do any, he just, and then I just say, why did you do that again, you silly fool?
So
you know it's not going to work.
You've weakened your position
I
because Jim knows that you're never going to go through with it.
Absolutely.
So he knows, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can get away with this.
So you have to go through with them, with ultimatums sometimes.
Yes.
If you say you're going to do it, you have
Absolutely.
to carry it out.
And the other thing is, it's interesting what you said, because if somebody gave me an ultimatum, I'd be stubborn and I'd dig my heels in.
Yeah.
So it's all about the person you're dealing with.
And
so well
would
done,
you
Jim.
do it with children? Would you deliver ultimatums to children and then carry them through? Because I think
with
that's
children, I think I would carry it through okay. But not someone, you can't make up an adult's mind about something because you're desperate to get a solution.
But you can force them to confront an issue. I'm thinking about the baby thing. It's very easy for men sometimes to forget that women are under a certain duress time-wise, and that if a woman is saying at 35, I want a baby, it's down to the man has to decide whether or not he's up for it, and if he's not, then they have to revise the relationship.
In that case, I think the relationship's not right anyway.
Yeah. I agree.
Look at the daughter of David Hasselhoff, who did what she did with that film, and she's trying to get him, shock him into a position where he does something about it. Only he can help himself in that situation.
I think it was his ex-wife, though, that put it out, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was certainly the act of an ex-wife. I don't know whether...
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Or somebody who had a book to promote.
OK, let's throw it open to you. I'm fascinated by this. I think that maybe there's a difference in how we deal with ultimatums with grown-ups and ultimatums with children. That seems to be coming through. But let's hear if ultimatums are ever a good idea. Corinne.
Let's go to Hilary then. She's from Cheshire on line 1.
Morning, Hilary.
Morning.
I'm getting confused about ultimatums. I'm not sure if they're a good idea or a bad idea.
Well, I think, obviously, depending on which situation, it's to do with your life and your progression of where you're going with an ultimatum with a partner, I think it's definitely a good idea. I was in a situation where I was with so-called the love of my life for 4 or 5 years, and it got to the point where, the old clock's ticking.
Yeah.
And I thought, is this man going to marry me and have the family that I want, or is he not? And so I gave him the ultimatum that, either he made some kind of serious commitment or that was the end of us. And he sort of said, I do want to be with you, but I'm not ready to make that kind of commitment yet. And I could see 4 or 5 years down the line still being with this man, not having the family that I want. He then suddenly meets somebody 10 years younger, so he hasn't got a problem with the old clock. And he gets married, leaves me, and I'm, stuck. So I gave my partner the ultimatum. He said, I'm not ready for that yet. Yeah. So I had to break my own heart and say, well, I need to move on, which I did.
I was just about to ask you, was it a real heartbreaking decision for you?
It was absolutely horrendous. It totally broke my heart. I just sort of said to him, well, if you love me enough to be with me for this long, but you're be honest, you're wasting my time because I want to have a family. I want to have a family with you.
OK, now, Hilary, have a deep breath and just think about some of the things that have been said here. Some people here would suggest that because you have such different views about your future together, that your relationship wasn't in maybe such great shape as you may have originally thought. It wasn't the love of your life.
Exactly. I think it was that he was the love of my life. I wasn't the love of his life. And the sooner I realised that, then the better for me to move on. And that's, obviously the ultimatum was the final kick I needed to prove to myself, which I thought was true, was he didn't want to marry me. And, so I actually, left and within a year later met and married somebody else and now have 2 children. I'm now having the ultimatum with the children saying, this is your last chance.
and you carry it through with the children?
Oh, yes, I do, yes. Often to my detriment, when we've got parties that I want them to go to, so I don't have to, You know, so I don't have them round my feet in the afternoon. It's like, if you don't do this, you will not go to the party.
I have to say, Hilary, I was sitting there, I started off the show thinking ultimatums, kind of a good idea. If you're going to make a threat, carry it through. And then listening to everybody else here, I really started to backtrack, and I'm thinking, no, this is not so. Your one has absolutely stymied me. I can't work out what I think, because to go through the heartbreak, I mean, most people would do anything they could to avoid that, and it takes a real vision, I think, to be able to see where you'd be in 5 years' time.
That's right, she could foresee worse heartbreak ahead.
Yeah.
Well, it's very wise of you.
I admire you for that decision, Hilary, because the long and short of it is not many people would carry it through, and the fact that you actually had the guts to do that, I take my cap.
And it also ties up with what our audience is saying as well, that if you are actually in the situation when you're making those kind of ultimatums, the big ones, then the relationship ain't right.
Yeah.
You may think it is, but then the other half doesn't.
But maybe the thing to do is to just say, look, this isn't working for me, so I'm going, without actually saying, unless you do something.
To be brave.
And then it's like, wow, that would be a situation where somebody thinks, well, I've got to either get my act together without the pressure, without being told.
See, I actually think the ultimatum is we do this or I've gone. It's giving a clear black and white
But
situation.
I see where you're coming from. You're saying that the better way to behave is to simply say, the relationship is through, I'm out of here, and leave them wondering why. Evil, but I like it. Here's a lettuce. OK, Hilary, thank you for that last call. Thank you very much for that last call. We're moving on now, after the break, to Say Your Prayers. Hopefully not an opportunity for religious maniacs to espouse their views, but what we're asking here is whether every child in the land should really be made to say their prayers, even if mum and dad aren't believers. Should it be part and parcel of a child's bedtime routine? Bath, brush your teeth, say your prayers, go to sleep. 0207 173 5555 is the number to dial, of course. Some vegetarian parents will happily feed their kids meat until they're old enough to make up their own minds about what they want to eat. So should every parent do the same kind of thing with prayers, or should they force it on them? We'll take your calls after the ads. One of today's panel prays every night, but who is it? Is it Ruth Badger? Is it Les Dennis? Or is it Anne Diamond? Find out after the break.
They're gonna taste great. They're gonna taste great. Well, everybody knows Frosties taste great. Like a bloke in a cake.
If you've got full paste. Even gentlemen wearing armour plates. And if you're rather ornate.
Or you can't stay awake. They're gonna taste great.
When is a good deal not a good deal on car insurance?
When I'm not rewarded for my careful driving, just because I've been on Mum's policy.
At Direct Line, all named drivers can build up a personal no-claims discount to use when they need a policy of their own. And as well as great prices, when you insure more than one car at your address, we'll give you an extra 10% discount.
That's better.
Visit directline.com or call 0845 246 3204. Direct Line, a good deal better.
New Mars Planets. Chewy caramel. Soft nougat. Crispy wafer. Mix them up any way you want to get the great Mars taste. Your way. New Mars Planets. Mix it up.
One credit card company now offers 0% balance transfers for a little longer than you'd expect. You see, unlike some credit cards, the 0% balance transfer rate won't shoot up after just 6 months, 9 months, or even 12 months. Switch to Capital One and you'll get 0% on balance transfers until the 1st of July 2008 and 0% on purchases for the first 3 months. Call Capital One on 0800 952 5111 or visit capitalone.co.uk.
What's in your wallet?
Thinking about a change of career? The Instructor College needs people just like you to train as driving instructors.
I did. Now I'm earning £30,000.
You don't even have to give up work to do the training, which is great.
And once you've got your approved qualification, you get a guaranteed placement in a driving school.
Working the hours you choose.
If you've got a driving licence, you're ready to start. Then you can train around your current job and enjoy the freedom of being your own boss. Call the Instructor College free on 0500 17 0017 and get on the road to a £30,000 career.
I didn't think I could afford a new washing machine, but Wright House let you pay weekly. So that was a load off my mind.
I've always dreamt of a new sofa, and Bright House made it happen.
Bright House make it easy to get credit on a great choice of leading brands, whatever your history. Bright House, the affordable way to furnish your home.
Self-conscious about your spots? Try Freedom Gel. It's the best-selling treatment with an anti-inflammatory that is clinically proven to reduce spots and redness. It's a licensed medicine and it really works. Ask your pharmacist for Freedom Gel.
Come on, Bubbles.
The only way you're going to get along with Caruso is if you understand why he hates you. He needs your help.
But if I'm helping him, who's gonna help me?
You're helping yourself.
Spoken like a true white man.
Everybody Hates Chris Double Bill. Sunday from 6:20 on 5.
So, one of today's panellists prays every night, but which one is it? Is it Ruth, Les or Anne? It's Ruth. Don't forget, now, a little later this morning, natural living expert Janie Lee Grace is back with us on the sofa here with answers for parents trying to bring baby up as naturally as possible. You got the answers. What kind of questions are you looking for?
Well, really, if anyone's having problems with breastfeeding, we can help you with that. All the time, you have a problem with that. Cloth nappies, of course, or more eco-friendly disposables. Skincare is always a big thing because, you know, everyone wants to look after that precious baby skin and be a bit kinder to the environment along the way. So that takes in what you clean your home with, laundry, all of that is all part of the bigger picture, if you like. We can look at feeding, look at the difference between plastics and non-plastics, because it's now becoming, you know, interesting that there's lots of alternatives to the plastic option, so that's also good news. And problems with sleep, that's always something that affects new parents. Colic, teething.
And some interesting necklaces, which
Some
you're going to
very
be telling
nice
me about in a little
necklaces,
while, which I'm intrigued by. For breastfeeding,
and of course cabbage leaves for the boobs. You had some
I've
lettuce
got
over
loads
there.
of lettuce. Do you want some?
It'll do.
There we go. Listen, if you want to speak to Janie about how you can bring up your baby in a more natural way, well, you need to speak to Corinne first. Corinne.
And the number to dial is 0207 173 5555. Calls are charged at the national rate from BT landlines. That's a maximum of 10p per minute. Calls from other networks and mobiles may vary. And if you don't get through the first time, then just keep trying. Or send us an email. Send it to wrightstuff@5.tv or text us on 800 88. Text messages cost 25p plus the standard network charge. And not all messages will be shown on screen.
Thanks for that, Corinne. First, though, say your prayers. Should every parent encourage their kids to say their prayers every night, even, and this is the crucial bit, even if they're not believers themselves? God bless Mum, God bless Dad, God bless all my teachers, my pet rabbit and all my friends, and thank you for looking after all of us. The liver burst, you remember that? Yeah. Now, seriously, whether or not you believe in a higher power, the very act of naming the people they love and showing some kind of appreciation for all the good things that have happened, well, that can't be bad for kids to appreciate, can it? I'm afraid to say that not many of the Wright Stuff team said their prayers every night as children, and when I look at them every morning, you can tell. Every state school is supposed to hold a daily act of worship. 90% of primary schools comply with the law. Almost 3/4 of secondary schools do not. So should Mum and Dad fill in the gap? Would Britain's youths be less hoodie and more goody if they did say their prayers? Corinne, I don't want to embarrass you too much, but she did tell me yesterday her 9-year-old son has actually been begging you to take him to church.
Yeah, and I don't really know where it's come from because none of my family are particularly religious. And I did take him, I took him to one of these, like, New Age, you know, born-again Christian type churches where they all sing and put their arms in the air, and I did feel a little bit out of place.
But what about prayers? I mean, you may not be a believer yourself, but if he's showing that kind of interest, and boys his age often do you feel that perhaps you should encourage him, give him guidance, even though it may not be something you believe in yourself?
We do say our prayers a little bit in the evening. He asked me to go and say prayers with him sometimes, and it is so sweet, and he looks so virtuous, and then you see him in the morning, you think, I just don't understand.
Maybe one day yours will be answered, Corinne. Ruth, we were hearing there over the break, Mum, that you'd say your prayers every night. Was that something instilled in you by your parents?
Yes. First of all, I went to a Church of England primary school and then a Catholic senior school, and it's nothing to do with that. So if people say that you got it from school, it's rubbish.
Right.
My mum... I mean, I've got a very fortunate upbringing. My parents used to put me to bed, read me stories, that sort of thing. And my mum used to say, right, before we go to bed, say our prayers. And I don't know whether it's a comfort thing, but it actually makes me feel better that I do it, and I can't go to sleep. And it's not as if I reel off a list of look after such and such, such and such. But it's just, I think it's just for me. And I know my mum does it, and I physically can't go to sleep.
If you had kids, would you make...
Absolutely. In fact, I think she does it with my niece and my nephew. People who I know very well think that they're like, you say your prayers as if... But I must admit, when something goes wrong, I do go to church.
OK, because I was going to ask whether the act of saying your prayers is actually a religious compulsion or whether it's just a sort of comforting thing.
I would say it's a little bit of... first of all, it's a bit of both. I mean, I do believe in God, and if something does go wrong, I do go to church, but only on serious things. So, no, I didn't get on my knees and pray that I won The Apprentice, but when somebody's ill in my family, then, my God, I pray, yeah.
OK. That makes sense. What about you, Les? You believe in saying your prayers?
When I was a kid, I said my prayers, just like you said then, you know...
And Mum and Dad encouraged...
Literally kind of like... Mum and Dad encouraged it, yeah. My mum was very keen on us being confirmed. She was Catholic, we were Protestant, brought up with my dad's faith. But she was very keen on instilling those values. And it used to be literally Mum, Dad, Ken, Mandy, Marg, Tony. I used to just like do a list of my family. And it was almost like counting sheep in the sense that it helped me sleep. And last night, because I knew we were going to talk about this issue today, I decided to say my prayers just as I went off to sleep. And I have to say that there's something very cleansing and very fulfilling about just reflecting on the day.
Right,
even if you don't
it's
think...
not necessarily the religious aspect.
No, it can be a kind of meditation of just reflecting and being thankful to whatever higher power you believe in, even if it's talking to your own inner self. I think that it helped me sleep. It definitely did help me sleep last night. And it's something, you've made me think that consciously I might take it up again.
OK, well, it's fascinating. I really want to get to the point, Anne, if the parents aren't religious themselves, should they still do it?
I think so, yes. I mean, I did it with the kids when they were little, so they know how to do it. It's almost as though you're just teaching somebody how to do it. And then it's just like Ruth said, when it's important, then you know how, and you do. And I prayed for Maddie, the little girl who's missing, yesterday and the night before, and I was in church and I lit a candle for her.
It's interesting because she'd been saying so much on the news, Mum, about it, that that's also been going around in my head as to why we're talking about this.
The sort of the intelligent brain part of you thinks, why am I doing this? Everybody in the world's saying prayers for her. You know, if there's a God up there, they wouldn't be allowing it to happen anyway. And then, but there's something deep inside you. Maybe it's just I don't know, instinct, or maybe it's a soul or your heart or something that's saying, just do it, because just do it.
It's the same as lighting a candle in
the
church,
I always like candles. And it's just one of those things. And I do think if you can teach a kid from when they're very little how to do that, then they'll always know it. It'll be in their vocabulary. They'll know how to do it.
And my parents, you know, I mean, it wasn't something... We never went to church as a child. All marriages, and I've been christened, everything happened in a church. But it was the fact that my mum... And we never used to say the Lord's Prayer. I would never say this on television. But we've actually got this little thing that we say, and my mum's watching and she'll know exactly what I'm on about. And to this day, I still say it. And it's almost like... It's like... No way. It's like Les said, it's almost like... And in a way, sometimes I do ask for things, and I ask that, and it gives me sort of the peace of mind that if I've asked that everybody's going to be all right, there will be. OK.
I'd like to find out, hopefully, from you guys at home, whether there's anybody out there who isn't religious but actually makes their children pray. That would be interesting. Let's see what you've got to say.
OK, we're going to go to Jill from North Wales on line 5.
Morning, Jill.
Good morning.
Thanks for giving us a call.
Thank you.
Are you a mum yourself?
I am, yes.
So, do you make your children pray?
Yes, in a sort. I've actually introduced it by getting them to say thank yous every night. We're not particularly religious, so we don't go to church, so they don't have an awful lot of idea about God.
OK.
But I get them to say thank you every night, so I ask them what they would like to say thank you for, and it's usually for ice cream or going to the park.
And who do they thank? Do they thank La and Tipsy Whipsy, or...?
They are, yes. I mean, they're only 2 and 1.
It was actually a joke, but...
No, she will say thank you for anything that she has seen or done in the day.
OK,
let me just say something there. It's really interesting that you say that, because there's a culture amongst teenagers, talk about the hoodies, who don't actually acknowledge the good they do. So by actually making sure that from an early age kids are acknowledging what they've done that's good in a day, surely that's good as
no, absolutely. I think what Jill does is absolutely right, actually. I just was interested in who the children thank.
Well, she will say, thank you for seeing my grandma. She will say, thank you for seeing the ducks. Thank you for anything that she's done in the day, really. And maybe as we get older, I will sort of introduce to her, thank God, maybe. Or maybe not, but as long as she appreciates sort of the good things, then I think, it's a good start.
Good for you. Thanks for the call, Jill. Let's have another.
This is Donna from Dagenham on line 4.
Morning, Donna from Dagenham.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nearly slipped over your name there, but we got through it OK. Are you into this, teaching kids to pray?
No, I'm not. No, I think kids should be allowed to make up their own minds on things. I think it's far more important to teach them manners and to say their please and thank yous throughout the day.
Do you not think there's perhaps a link that in making a child reflect, as Les said, reflect on the things they've done during the day, that they're going to become more appreciative and therefore manners will come more naturally?
Oh, absolutely, but it doesn't necessarily need to be done in prayers, does it? I mean, if my children want to do that, I'm fully supportive and I will do it with them, even though I'm an atheist. But they should be allowed to make up their own minds on it. My son is very interested in religion, and I allow him, and I'll go through it with him, and I'll support him with that, even though it's not my belief.
So, but does that extend to praying together in each...
If that's what he wants to do, then I'm quite happy to do it, but I won't force my other kids to do it as well.
Donna, how will he know about praying unless you give him guidance?
He learns about different religions in school. He learns about it from his friends. He'll ask about his friends. He's got a multicultural school. He'll ask about his friend being Spanish and his religion, and his friend being a Muslim and his religion, and I'll go through it with him.
OK, excellent. And can I ask how old he is?
He's 6.
6, excellent. Thank you for the call, Donna. Les, you want to get in there?
It's funny how people who claim to be non-religious, and I'm not talking about that lady, but when it comes to times of crisis, how we all go, oh, please God, don't let that happen. Suddenly, when we're in trouble, we find somebody to talk to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listen, bless me if we haven't run out of time, actually, on that one, he says, keeping the religious puns to a minimum. Therefore, it's almost time for me to go over to the sofa, so I have to dispose of this morning's panel, but not without saying goodbye. Ruth, thank you very much. Really enjoyed having you here. Excellent. Good luck with Badger Old Bust as well. I'm sure it'll be a big hit. Les and Anne, bless you as well. Thank you for a lovely show. One more time for the panel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again. After the break, Janie Lee Grace is going to be helping those of you who want to raise your kids tax-free and as naturally as possible. She has advice on anything from chemical-free wipes and nappy creams to natural baby shampoo and even eco-friendly toys. Seriously, one of them looks like a carrot, though, I have to say. In fact, I think it is a carrot. 0207 173 5555 is the number to ring with your questions. If you'd like to be a greener parent, then stick around for Janie's natural baby tips straight after the ads. Back in a moment. Which of these is a remedy for nappy rash? Is it egg whites, is it live yoghurt, or is it olive oil? Find out after the break.
Which supplements are fabulous for the over 50s? What happens to grandparents when families break up? Which foods do we miss most from our childhood? Why is Linda Bellingham so happy these days? Find out in Yours magazine. It's the reading for life. Every fortnight. Out now.
That's it. Shape Lasting Satisfaction has won Grocery Foods Product of the Year.
Yes, excellent winner.
J'aimerais bien comprendre les gens qui tuent le temps dans leur bain. Oui, j'aimerais bien comprendre les gens.
The wedge with the flexible sole from Clarks.
Fixodent Food Seal has a thinner nozzle which allows for precise application. This helps to give a better seal against food infiltration. Fixodent Food Seal, life with more bite.
You
You can now experience the softness of silk with the protection of Always. Introducing new Always with Silk. The first Always pad with the added touch of silk. Always with Silk. Feels like silk. Protects like always.
The boxes are done up with this plastic strapping, which often gets left on the floor. I just caught my foot and went flying. My knee was too badly damaged to work, and I couldn't keep up with the rent.
If you had an accident, the National Accident Helpline could help you claim the compensation you deserve, and you'll keep 100% of it because the costs are recovered from the other side.
I got £8,000. And the plastic? Well, that's sorted.
Find out free if you can make a no-win, no-fee claim. Call 0800 556 557 now.
North East England. Passionate people, passionate places. Discover your perfect holiday or short break at visitnortheastengland.com.
Worldwide Timeshare Hypermarket has fantastic bargains available now. See how much you could save from thousands of properties worldwide.
When we bought ours, we had a really substantial saving.
We saved approximately 75%.
I'm very happy with the service of Worldwide Timeshare.
Find high season weeks in Spain from just £1,295. Two-bedroom apartments in Tenerife from just £1,595. And a great selection in Florida from just £1,995. Call Worldwide Timeshare Hypermarket now on 0845 330 1202 or log on to timeshare-hypermarket.com and look forward to holidays of a lifetime for a lifetime.
10 real lemons help make one zesty bottle of original Source shower gel.
When is it going to stop?
A groundbreaking new series. Donald McIntyre invites the insect tribe to Britain to experience Western civilization.
Water.
I can't believe that. Return of the Tribe starts 8 o'clock tonight on 5.
So, which of these is a remedy for nappy rash, egg whites, live yoghurt or olive oil? The answer is all three. Painting egg white on your baby's bum and allowing it to dry before putting on a nappy allows the skin to heal and prevents further irritation. Alternatively, live yoghurt or olive oil will do the trick as well. And my esteemed director is just saying, but will baby like it? I don't know. I don't care. Welcome back to the final part of this morning's Wright Stuff. I'm joined once again by green living guru Janie Lee Grace here. Now, Janie, if you've seen her before, you know already. If you haven't, well, she's a fountain of wisdom when it comes to all things natural. We've looked in the past at foods, remedies, household stuff, and this morning it's babies, as Janie's latest book over here, Imperfectly Natural Baby and Toddler, is aimed at just this very market. So, what kind of things can people call in with him?
Oh, well, everything really,
Yeah.
from breastfeeding, sleep issues, nappies, skincare.
You've got a few kids
sun
yourself
creams.
as well, haven't you?
I do have 4, yes.
4?
I do have 4 children, yes.
So you know what you're talking about,
And they're
cluttering
all
up
under
the planet.
9. Exactly. Outrageous behaviour. But the thing is, we share stuff. I mean, none of mine, bless their hearts, ever get new clothes. So we do a lot of recycling, sort of, as, you know, it's
Good way
part
to
of the
start.
course. Yeah, and the nappies get passed down from one to the other. Cloth ones, I assure
I'm glad
you.
I'm not child number 4, I have to say.
No.
Luckily, I was the eldest in my family. There we go. If you want to speak to Janie today, I mean, she really is. She knows so many great hints and tips and stuff like that. Anything from natural colic remedy, chemical-free nursery cleaner, to the best environmentally friendly toys. Then pick up the phone and give Janie a call now on 0207 173 5555. We've already got calls lined up. I just want to, one question. There's a story in today's papers that certain food additives are linked to kids' behavioural problems. We've heard this before.
Yeah.
So if mums and dads want to cut additives out of their child's diet, presumably they can start from a very early age.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I don't think this really is news to anyone. It's certainly not rocket science. There is no nutritional value in E-numbers and food colourings and all the rest of that stuff, and there's no need for it whatsoever. Start from a really early age. In my book, I just suggest, you know, child-led weaning is the expression, baby-led weaning. Just give the baby what you're eating, unseasoned. There's a lovely product on the table there called Truly Scrub Scrumptious, which is frozen organic baby food, totally organic. So if you can't do the pureeing yourself,
is it
then
expensive?
Grab that. No, it's not expensive at all. I mean, obviously it's going to be cheaper to make your own, but if you don't have the time and you're imperfect like I am, that's a really great range.
This is the thing to stress, is what your whole sort of thrust is not to be really perfect
Absolutely.
and holy. It's the fact that, because I'm sitting there thinking, look, it comes in a plastic container.
Absolutely,
that won't biodegrade for 500 billion years.
Well, I think you'll find it might be slightly better than that, but if you could look just straight a little bit behind that, you've got a baby pot, so you can get it straight into that. That's a company called Baby Pots, because one of my big things is let's get rid of plastics, actually, and let's move back to ceramics, and maybe we'll talk about that later. But back on the food thing for a second, kids want treats. They all want treats. And so I have a kind of positive approach to that. And in the book, I've got loads of recipes of ways you can give food, give children exactly what they want, even lollies, but make them corn syrup lollies. Give them a little bag of brightly coloured sweets, but with no E numbers. And there are ways of doing that. And by the way, agave nectar, we've spoken about that before. I mean, in addition to things like Manuka honey, agave nectar is fantastic because it's really sweet and you can drizzle it on just about anything, put it on a rice cake, and kids think they're getting a real smashing treat.
Talking of treats, Janie's got me this, which I think is absolutely fantastic. If you can zoom in on it. What is this?
This is a little booby reminder bracelet.
It's a booby reminder bracelet.
Yeah, in case, you know, you want some bitty.
It doesn't
No,
fit.
it doesn't go on your...
It doesn't go on the boob.
It doesn't go on the boob. You put it on your wrist. Well, you wouldn't. I mean, in truth, you wouldn't. Your mum would. Your mum would put that on her wrist, and then that would remind her which was the next boob you'd need feeding from. Because the truth of the matter is, you forget.
You women really do have problems,
Well, you do. You forget. Once you've dispersed...
Not only that, but it also reminds me of my name, Matthew.
Well, exactly, you see. If you've got more than one child that's feeding, then you need to remember which boob's for which baby.
And you've got, on a serious note, you've got other necklaces here as well.
Made by the same company. It's a woman called Leda Moore who makes these, and they're just gorgeous because there's a whole range of nursing necklaces, because you know how when you hold a baby, whether they're on the boob or even just being fed from a bottle, they love twiddling and they pull at anything round your neck, and I've lost so many silver chains that way because they've got a real grip. So they love playing with those. One of them jingles as well, so I call them my jingle boobs. And they look really pretty and really fashionable, and it's just a great way of making breastfeeding fun, because I think so many women have still got this image of breastfeeding that it's not cool, and obviously I won't be doing with that.
No, absolutely. I mean, that is right at one of the founding sort of principles, I suppose, of
However,
of
I must say, if you are going to bottle feed your baby, or when you give your baby a bottle, have a glass bottle. You can get them now. You can have
Isn't glass dangerous? I mean...
Well, no, not if you obviously want to be safe with it. I mean, don't sort of fling it from a great height at the small child, but then you wouldn't anyway, would you? But this is made by Green Baby, this one. There are lots of options now. And the
reason being that you need fewer, you don't need loads of plastic ones.
Well, exactly, but also there's a big problem with plastics. I mean, it's a conversation for another day when we've got a longer time, but there's hormone-disrupting chemicals in some plastic that can leach in to the baby's food, and it's so not a good idea. So, you know, if you can wean kids off them, then do. Similarly with the no-spill cup. Get a doidy cup, which is a little open cup.
A doidy
cup? It's all in the book, Matthew.
Okay.
You just have to read it.
I love it. Doidy cups.
A doidy cup.
Let's throw it open to you guys at home then. Any questions for Janie? You fire away. And who's up first, please, Corrie?
First, we've got Laura from London on line 1.
Morning, Laura.
Morning.
How can Janie help you, my dear?
I'm expecting twins. I'm 30 weeks pregnant.
Right.
Wow. I'm just on maternity leave now. And we were thinking about using cloth nappies when we thought it was one baby. But we're now just thinking about all the washing and whether it's going to be cheaper to use the cloth nappies or cheaper to use the disposable.
Laura, you've gone straight to price. What is your primary interest here after dealing with your babies? Is it to save money or is it to save the planet?
To be quite honest, it's more to do with saving the money.
OK, that's fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah. Well, the thing is that you will save an absolute fortune, particularly, you know, if you have subsequent children. I mean, I realise that if you're having twins, and congratulations, by the way, they're both going to be on the same size at the same time. So that will be extra cost, but it would be extra cost if you were having disposables. What you've got to remember is the initial outlay is a little bit more expensive with cloth nappies, but then what you'll save over the years is an absolute fortune. Also, in so doing, you will help save the planet. I mean, it's frightening. We throw away something like 8 billion disposable nappies every year, and they can take 200 years to to degrade.
All those washing machines, though.
Well, everyone says this. You know, they say, well, OK, you're going to use more money in electricity, more money in you know, in all the rest of it. I don't buy that one at all, because with twins, you're going to have a load of baby grows to wash. You've always got the washing machine on when you're a new mum. So the great thing with nappies is you can see from the ones I've got here, the cloth nappies here, with the lovely little leopard skin print. They don't have to be white and boring anymore. You don't have to boil them on the hob. There's a load of different styles of cloth nappies now, and you can just bung them in with your regular wash. Just wash them at 30 or 40. You must use, in fact, eco-friendly detergents, laundry balls, soap nuts, or an eco-friendly range. Don't use the harsh chemical stuff. So it doesn't really work out much more expensive to do your washing either. The drying, it is a problem in this country, but get ones that dry quickly if you can afford it. And my big top tip here is buy second-hand. These nappies, you know, they last forever. You'll still be using them. Look at your face, Matthew. You're going to wash them, aren't you?
Yeah.
What are you like? Listen, it's not a problem. You can, you know, treat yourself to a few, and believe me, it can become addictive to buy real nappies.
You're mad on them. I know she is as well.
I tell you what, once you get into cloth... I've never heard anyone say, oh, I love disposables. When you get into cloth nappies, you do start to get a bit odd. I warn you. Go to thenappylady.com and you'll find out everything you need to know.
OK, there we go, Laura. Good luck as well with your imminent arrival. And who's up next, please, Karen?
Next, we've got Gina from Leicestershire on line 2.
Morning, Gina.
Hello, good morning.
Hi there. So how can Janie help you?
Well, I would like to know whether there is anything you can use, any alternative sun lotions to protect your baby and young children from the sun.
Good question. I'm assuming here, I mean, Gina sounds like she knows more about it than I do. I mean, are sun lotions bad for the planet, or are they just chemical, I suppose?
Yes. I mean, I'm not a fan of regular sun protection. It's, again, probably a subject for another day because it's a huge topic, but most sun protection is absolutely chock full of what I call scary chemicals, for want of a more technical term. They've nearly all got parabens in, they've got some kind of sodium lauryl sulfate, they've got colourants, they've got, you know, alcohol, they've got perfumes, loads of stuff you don't need really, and certainly not on precious, you know, baby skin. So I would say, number one, cover up. I mean, I'm sure that's obvious anyway, but if the baby's at an age where they'll still keep a hat on, big hat, nice organic cotton hat preferably. Suntogs are a company who make sun protective clothing, so cover up as much as possible. For the bits that are exposed and you want sun lotion, there's a lovely one here, organic babies range from Green People. You can pick that up in just about any health shop, some supermarkets as well. It's a Sun Factor 25, I think, and it's a really good sunblock. You can also now get a sunblock that's got the zinc oxide, you know, like the surfers have the white noses,
players,
but you can get one that's got a transparent form of the zinc oxide called Caribbean Blue from the Natural Skincare Company, and that's also excellent.
Okay,
so yeah, there's lots of options.
All right, Gina, good luck to you, and we'll get one more in, I think. Corinne, who will that be?
This is Heather now from Swindon on line 4.
Hi there, Heather.
Hi, morning.
Hi there. Hi, morning. How can Janie help you?
I've got a 10-month-old, and probably like the last lady, it's a skin question.
Right.
I'm wondering what I can put my baby's dry skin. I don't want to use products that have got lots of extras in them, and I just want to keep him nice and moisturised, really, and I don't want to use lots of soaps on him.
No, that's a really good idea, Heather. I think most people basically bathe their children too often, and I know Matthew's going to start saying, don't be so disgusting.
How often is too often?
Well, every day is too often. You know, maybe 10 months you're a little bit older, but certainly new babies, they don't need anything other than top and tailing with water for the first month or so. And then when you do give them a bath and you do wash them, absolutely don't use drying soaps. It's the worst thing you can possibly use. A great product that I've mentioned lots of times is from the Sensitive Skincare Company. It's this little bottle of oil here. It's essential pre-wash and shower oil, and basically you can use it before you bathe and afterwards as a kind of barrier. It's brilliant for just about any skin problem. Bods is another great range. They do a bum spray. It's actually called bum spray. How fab is that?
Bum spray?
Bum spray.
I bet the camera operators will go mad for that after you finish today.
Don't forget, I must just say, you can always make your own. You don't have to throw money at this. Olive oil, Manuka honey, you know, all of this stuff is very, very good. Coconut oil.
OK. Heather, hope that answers your question. You've got some great top tips for people wanting to be natural parents as well.
Yes, I have. Yeah, basically cut down on the synthetic toxic chemicals in your home and on your skin and around your household. Stick to as fresh and organic diet as you can, as unprocessed as possible. Do consider using reusable nappies, or if you can't manage that, the more eco-friendly disposable like Multex Oco and Tushies. Have a look in your pantry a little bit before you turn to necessarily buying bottles vegetables, of just about anything. Have a look what you've got in your pantry first. And remember, being green can save you money, and it can save your health, and it can save the planet a bit.
Thanks very much for that, Janie. There you go. There's more details here in Janie's book if you need it as well. No more calls, I'm afraid, as we're already out of time. A big up, first of all, to everyone who rang in today. Really enjoyed the show. Hope you did too. If you didn't get through, if you check out our website, you'll find lots of useful information there. Details of the products Janie's mentioned, as well as a link to Janie's homepage as well. The address is on screen now. Janie, look forward to when you come back and join us again soon.
Thanks
It's a real education.
Have you got your bracelet?
I've got my bracelet. It's on. Now I know which breast. Anyway, tomorrow I'm joined by best-selling author Judy Picoult. She's on the panel. Or Dr. Rosemary Leonard is here if you need to dial a doctor. See you tomorrow at 9. Bye for now.
Would you like to be part of the Wright Stuff? Well, if you've got something to shout about, why not join our live studio audience?
Call us now on 0207 173 5555.
Get a seat and get on TV.
England return to Test cricket, and your comprehensive coverage returns to 5. As the new series begins, we bring you exclusive highlights and analysis at a time that's right for you. 7:15 every day. All the tests and all the one-day internationals. Will it be a new dawn for England? Join Mark Nicholas, Jeff Boycott and Simon Hughes for a summer of international cricket. The exclusive cricket highlights start Thursday the 17th of May on 5.
Treat. Does your treatment of athlete's foot feel never-ending? Try revolutionary Lamisil Once. Only one single application and the Lamisil Once lasting film keeps working in the skin. Once and you're done, so you can feel in touch again. Lamisil Once, the one and only one-dose treatment.
Jack, whatever's come over
I'm just hungry, that's all. Why, what's the matter with you?
Nothing's the matter with me, Jack. I'm all right.
The good old days, what a carry-on, and not a care in the world.
But as you get older, you may start to think about leaving a little extra behind for your family or helping with funeral expenses.
The AXA Sun Life Guaranteed Over 50 plan can help. From only £6 a month, it pays a fixed cash sum when you've gone. If you're between 50 and 80, you're guaranteed to be accepted with no medical. And so long as you keep paying your premiums, the full cash sum would be payable after the first 2 years. To find out more, simply call 0800 50 55 50 for a full information pack. Your first month's premium is free when you take out the plan, and you can choose a welcome gift. So to find out how you can leave more than just happy memories, call today on 0800 50 55 50 or visit the website. You'll even get a free Parker pen.
Oh, whacker.
Want to make the most out of your PC? Call Which now on 0800 57 57 57 for your free, new, easy-use PC guide.
The general opinion of chavs that they'll go down and smoke and then kill people and stuff.
Challenging their preconceptions.
Oh yeah, we've got 3 toffs.
Confronting their fears. But will they cope? Discovering how the other half learns. 8 o'clock tomorrow on 5.
Also tomorrow night on 5, Jennifer Lopez and Ralph Fiennes star in the romantic comedy Made in Manhattan. That's straight after How the Other Half Learns at 9 p.m. But now, let's find out what Trisha's got in store for us today.
Today on Trisha Goddard.
Jean claims her big sister is lazy, a liar and a junk food junkie.
Stop being lazy, get out that wheelchair, do some exercise because you don't need to be a cripple. She's a pig. It's as simple as that. Well, I know she eats pork pies, I know she eats kebabs, I know she eats cakes, chocolates, fish, chips.
Barbara says her little sister is a bully.
Trisha, could I please have my scales brought out so that I can prove to her once and for all how much I weigh now, and I normally don't get weighed with my cardigan on.
Give her a lie detector, see if she is telling the truth.
Would you like a lie detector test?
Doesn't bother me, I know what I'm eating now and I know that I'm telling the truth.
show. Today, Secret Lives Exposed. Later on, we're going to meet Antonio and Kirsty, who recorded this for us before they came to the studio today.
I've been called a paedophile, child molester and a cradle snatcher. I've had my car broken into, I've had my car stereo stolen, I've had people writing graffiti on the fences and everything, and it's just been sheer hell. The only crime I've committed is falling in love with somebody 22 years younger than myself.
I was 15 and Antonio was 37. A lot of people, a lot of my friends didn't understand how we could be like happy together.
Soon after we got together, we had his son, and a year after that we decided to get married.
Not everything though is happy ever after. We are still trying to face a big problem in our lives.
More from Antonia and Kirsty later. But first, let's meet Grant. Now, a few years ago, he says he had a well-paid job, career prospects, money in the bank, and a hectic social life. Well, now he's unemployed, broke, and living in a relationship that's at breaking point. Why? Well, he says it's
The ghost town's off limits, but Courtney, I have to find my locket. It's from your dad, isn't it?
Losing something you love is hard. Getting it back, harder still.
What if those animals are still here? No, the canoe!
The canoe came back without him!
It could be anywhere!
A fantastic Jurassic adventure. Dino Sapien, Thursdays at 4:35 on CBBC One.
What's that coming over the hill?
It all comes down to this one moment.
I've got the results right here in my hand.
But who will win? The big shots or the bright sparks?
Anything can beat big shots.
I think we're on for a battle. They're serious, they mean business.
Beat the boss.
Game on.
Mondays at 5 on CBBC One, and catch the next programme straight after on the CBBC channel.
That's all from me on this fine Sunday, but switch over now for more on the CBBC channel. See you tomorrow at 7. Bye.
Max thinks he can have it all. He's got his wife, and I'm just his bit on the side who comes running every time he clicks his fingers. He's prepared to do anything for a bit of me. The riskier, the better. But I tell you what he's not prepared for. When I decide to take control of things. He needs to learn that I don't play nice. After all, got nothing to lose, have I?
What to watch tonight?
If you can give me a guarantee, I can give you every robber in London.
Time to start talking. Supergrass at 9 here on BBC Two. British tennis star Andy Murray talks to Gabby Logan on Inside Sport at 11:30. First here on BBC Two, something for the weekend.
Joining us for a three-course Sunday lunch, Joe Pasquale, and we bring on the Badger. Ruth Badger reveals exactly what she thinks of Alan Sugar's new batch of apprentices. It's something for the weekend. Oh yes, good morning, I'm Tim Lovejoy.
And I'm Simon Rimmer.
And I'm Amanda Hamilton, and this is something for the weekend.
Bring on the Badger.
You guys quaking in your little shoes.
Bring on the Badger. Yeah. She's going to teach us how to be millionaires, how to sell things.
She is.
Maybe. And Joe Pasquale's here, which is good. What are you cooking for us?
OK, well, we're starting off with panzanella, which is an Italian salad.
Panzanella?
It's kind of a leftover salad traditionally. So you've got ciabatta in there, there's roasted peppers, beautiful ascaloni olives, and a really nice pecan dressing. The main course today, it's coming towards sort of middle of spring, so we've got some spring lamb with feta and spinach parsley. There's a Greek dish called kleftiko, which is lamb that's stuffed with spinach and feta. We're doing a sort of slightly fancy version of it with the cutlets and then little wraps of the phyllo and the spinach, which is very nice. Yeah. And then pudding today is a raspberry mousse cake. So you've got Madeira cake on the outside. It's got, I'm not going to say boozy, Tim, because you always say
He's waiting for that.
I'm not going to say it ever again.
Yeah,
and it has some alcohol in it
boozy
as well. And then lazy brunch today is one of my favourite things, which is pad thai. Thai dish, which is a stir-fried noodle.
Classic.
Very pungent flavours. I mean, the whole of the studio was smelt of fish sauce all day, which is beautiful.
Fish sauce is really
I
stinky.
don't like the smell of fish sauce, but I do like the I like pad thai, so it should be good. Right, let's get your hands on today's recipes. Visit our website, bbc.co.uk/food.
Or text weekend to 81010 and we'll send the recipes straight to you. And don't forget, next week's recipes will be available from Thursday, so you can get the ingredients in advance.
OK, now here's what else is on the menu this morning. Danny Wallace has started his own country, so will they let him enter the Eurovision Song Contest? She was last year's runner-up, but how does the Badger rate this year's Apprentice wannabes? And the Real Hustle team reveal the horrible hotel scam that's ripping off gullible guests.
All that plus the latest trend in cocktails is tiki, whatever that means.
Tiki?
Tiki.
Tiki?
Yeah. Have you drunk tiki cocktails before?
I don't know. I'll find out later.
Can't remember.
I quite like the idea, though, of tiki cocktails. I don't know what they are. We'll find out later.
Right, OK, well, that's Andy. And also, we're going to
good.
see a barbecue that's as small as a briefcase.
Yeah, now he's been a bingo caller, worked in a meat market and been a sellout stand-up comedian. He says, I've had a fantastic life. I'm just wondering when my career is going to begin. It is Joe Pasquale.
Morning.
Welcome to the show,
Morning.
Joe.
But you look very foxy for a Sunday morning. I feel knackered and you look like you just like been in the cover of Vogue.
It's makeup.
Is that what it is?
It's
you
makeup.
look right as well, Tim,
Thanks,
but not as,
Joe.
you know.
We've got a great team out there.
I know, yeah, they're good, aren't they?
Chisels and everything,
Yeah.
get it going. You watched Eurovision last night?
I thought it was brilliant.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah, but I'm a bit of a divvy bloke, but I did. I thought it was great. I thought it was, and everybody said, oh, Scoot, Scoot. I thought they were really good. Compared to some... No, I really did. Compared to some of them, we was like Pavarotti compared to... See the bloke at the... Well, I think it was a bloke or a woman in the goggles, looked like, with all the glitter stuff on. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
I did see that one. Latvia, I think that was it not?
I don't know what
Ukraine,
it was.
no, it was
Don't know.
Ukraine, and it was somewhere
I don't know what, but they were really pants. The favourite one, I think Hungary was my best one. I really liked Hungary. It was quite a jazzy rock
Did you watch the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing, yeah.
What do you think about Wogan's commentary? We were very...
Oh, no, so it's worth watching just for Terry's current
Yeah, Terry was the best, wasn't he?
He's like psychic on the voting at the end. He knows who's going to give the points to who, because it's all political voting, you know.
Some people say it's a little fixed. I can't believe
I can't believe that either. No,
Okay.
not at all.
Right, let's talk about you. You're going to be... you're joining the cast of the producers.
Yeah,
The producers.
I've been rehearsing for the past month, and it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do ever in show business. You know, I've had some hard jobs like working at Smithfield's Meat Market with a dead cow on my back all day. That was hard. You know,
What did you do there then?
I was what was called a humper. And
It's a bit unfortunate, no?
Remember their children watching now.
It's a humper, but it wasn't anything in Ann Summerson. I think it was actually in the meat market. And I used to have this. Basically, you have half a dead cow, bull quarter on your back, and unload it from the lorry. And I was only about 18. I was about 7 stone at the time, and these things weighed 4 times my weight. And I couldn't even carry the stuff, you know. But what was really good was at the end of the week they'd give you a great big lump of beef and a chicken. I used to go up to London up here on my little moped, and on a Friday I'd go back with a plastic bag on either handlebar. I'd have beef in one side and chicken on the other side, and it would be balanced. It was all right. But one day
a balanced diet. What else do you need?
The chicken was unplucked, and one day a car wing mirror clipped my plastic bag, and I lost my chicken. And I had this beef, and I was trying to keep balance because I had this big lump of beef on the other side. And everybody's bibbing me up on the A13 going, I go, oi, get out of the way. And I thought because I was like that. And when I got home, the chicken had bounced out the bag, I got stuck in the mudguard, and it looked like I'd been chased down the A13 by an unplucked chicken. So it was half cooked, got stuck on the mudguard and the exhaust pipe. It was half cooked, but you still had the beak and everything. It was great. I didn't eat that one.
Delightful, yeah.
Right.
But the producers...
So the producers, yes.
Yeah, back to the producers.
I open on Wednesday in Woking, and for the past month I've been tap dancing and singing. I've been on stage for over 20 years now, but I've never had to dance before. I'm 46, I'm learning to dance for the first time. and we did the dress
and
run
tap
on
dance as
Tap
well.
dance, yeah. It's
Are the routines complicated or?
Yeah, well, they are for me. If I've got 2 O levels in metalwork and biology, and I weld a cat, and that's about all I can do. So to all of a sudden get you know, I was worried about the singing, and then all of a sudden say, right, you've got to dance now. I don't give a monkeys about the singing. I'm just wondering where my feet are going.
Well, it's true. There's so many people say it's the hardest job they'll do. We've had soap stars on, singers that have gone on and done sort of West End musicals, and they say it's absolutely
it's
full on.
Yeah, it is really full on. And
how is your singing? Is it okay?
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not Michael Ball or nothing, but, you know, it's okay. The good thing is I'm playing the part of Leo Bloom, which is an accountant. So he has to stay in character. So his dancing has to be an accountant dancing. It has to be an accountant singing. So it doesn't have to be Pavarotti singing.
Right, OK.
But you're well known for the pitch of your voice, which is very distinctive. Is it the same singing? You know?
Yes, Does
it change?
No, only dogs can hear me singing. So no, it's all right. You know, they've given me some lessons over the past few months and some dancing lessons, and it's getting there. You know, we did the dress run on Friday with.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it was really good. I was more worried. I think I was more worried about doing Friday than I am about opening night, because Susan Stroman, the original director of the show and of the movie, was in to oversee, because it's still her baby, it's still her show. And so I think I was more nervous about her seeing what my performance was going to be like than anybody else, really. But yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it. And that was just Friday.
So you're not nervous about it because you're so used to going in front of people?
Yeah,
that side doesn't...
Yeah, once you get out there in front of a paying audience, that's the adrenaline takes over. But seeing the director there, the original movie and what have you, seeing what he was doing...
Are you still doing stand-up?
Well, I will be doing it again once we finish this, 'cause I'm doing this for 6 months. We're starting Woking, as I said, this week. It goes all over the country: Sunderland, Birmingham, Bristol, Southampton, Milton Keynes. And then next year I'll go back on the road doing some more stand-up again.
We've got a clip, actually,
let's see you do some stand-up.
from Return of the Love Monk.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Great title.
Yeah, this is my favourite impression. A little collection of impressions that only I do these. Nobody else does these, mainly because they're cack, but they are my personal favourite impressions. And my first impression is an impression of Prince Charles. My second impression is Prince Charles when he was 9 years old. James Brown stubbing his toe. Wow! Now this one, you'll never guess this one. Watch this one, Rosie. That's a wheel clamp.
Very good.
Get away with that.
I know.
How long does your material last? How long can you run a show out?
Well, I change it every year because I get bored doing it. People just run out the same act year after year, but I get the bored really. I've got the same, you know, my concentration level is really short, so I do it for a year and knock it out and do something else again. Which what's good about doing something like this, you know, like the producers, because it's completely different.
Yeah,
and,
keep learning.
Yeah, once you get older, I think it's good to keep learning new stuff. You know, I learned to fly last year. You know,
but I thought you had a fear of heights.
Yeah, I did.
When you were in the jungle, you were suspended from that rope. You were terrified, were you not?
Yeah, I was terrified. They made me jump out of a plane as well, you know. And I'd never jumped out of a plane before. Have you ever done a parachute jump?
No.
It's the best thing in the world.
No.
Yeah, you should, seriously. They strap a bloke
if it goes wrong.
No, that's what, they've done. They strap a bloke to your back.
End, isn't
I'd never done it before. They strap a bloke to your back, right, and there's no training. Yeah, there's a bloke.
Like that bit.
Well, yeah.
Can we not just do that without having to go on the plane?
No, leave it. But they do. They just say, there's a bloke, and they strap a bloke to your back and say, all you've got to do is scream. Because if you scream, people forget to breathe when they jump out of a plane for some reason. I don't know why. So the best way of remembering to breathe is to scream. And you're falling for about 3 minutes. So you're screaming, you've got no breath left, and you've got another 2 minutes to fall. So you scream for another 2 minutes. And the worst thing about it is...
Sounds great.
As the floor's coming up to you, you think, hang about, if this don't open, right, I weigh about 13 stone, and this bloke must be weigh 15 stone, and that means that I'm going to hit the ground first, and not just my weight, I'm going to have another 15 stone on the back of me then as well.
We've got some footage, actually, of you flying, because you've taken up flying since then.
Yeah.
And this is...
Look, that's me.
Do you own that?
Yeah, well, me and my flying instructor bought it together, yeah.
How much is one of those?
That was...
I'm not being rude, but
not being rude. It depends on how old you want to get, you know. But they range from anything about 10 to 60,000.
Right. Okay.
So you've really caught the bug then. How often are you out in the sky?
Oh, just whenever I'm not working and whether the weather's good, really.
How long did it take you to learn to fly?
About 8 months.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
It's quite quick then, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I did it. Yeah, but what I did, I paid me money up front because I knew if I just did it weekly, then you wouldn't do it because you go, you know, as you may. If you pay your money up front, you go, there's your money there. OK, I've got a day off. I'll go and do a bit more today then.
Right.
I'd advise anyone, it's the best thing in the world to go and do.
Is it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. You'd love it. You would. You see it in your eyes like that. You think about it now.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
All right, Joe will be staying with us. I'd take your emails along with Ruth Badger. Bring on the Badger. I like that line. If you want to ask them anything, send us an email via the BBC website, bbc.co.uk/food.
Now, for our competition Deja Vu, the musical Mamma Mia, which is inspired by the classic pop songs of ABBA, of course, has already been seen by more than 30 million people in over 140 cities around the world, and it's grossed £1 billion at the box office. But its popularity still shows no sign of slowing down. Let's have a look.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17. Dancing queen, feel the beat from the tambourine. Oh, yeah. You can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Ooh, see that girl, watch that scene, begin the dancing queen.
What is that about?
It's great.
Is
you know,
it?
my brother took me and my mum to see it, and it's just so much fun. It's
What
a right
happens?
laugh.
What's the story?
Well, there's these three women. I think they've all grown up in Greece, and they've got their own little stories. One's divorced, and one's looking for love. But it's the whole, the songs interact. But it's actually a really good laugh as well. Honestly.
OK, well, this is the prize up for grabs. Is 2 passes to a masterclass of the musical. Starting on the 30th of May, where after seeing the show, you'll be taught routines and songs over 3.5 days. Sounds like my idea of hell. That sounds like hard work, but I mean, what a great prize that is.
Yeah.
And you're going to be taught by members of the creative team. So, as Joe's saying how hard it is to learn these things.
Yeah, it is, especially if you've got 2 left feet and a bit of a div. And,
Big experience, that will.
But you know what? That's not all, because you're also going to have to perform a version of the show on stage.
Is this a prize or a punishment?
At the Prince of Wales Theatre in costume in front of an invited audience of friends and family. So as long as you're able to do the odd step to be with a chance to win, just tell us which year this particular episode of Class's British sitcom was first broadcast. It's Man About the House.
Right, now the finishing touch. Do you, Chrissy, take this fellow, Norman, to have and to hold, and to stand on top of this cake until both shall live?
I do.
And so do I. So be it. Though who the registrars put together, let no cake knife put asunder.
Right, Richard O'Sullivan in Man About the House there, but what year was that particular episode from? I'll give you a clue. It's the same year Baby Spice Emma Bunton was born. Simon, what do you think of that prize?
You know what, I really think you should do that.
No.
Because now you've got into your gymnastics and you like the old leotard thing.
I can't
That little
sing.
spangly one with the little things around the knee.
I'm a great
that's so
dancer,
you.
but singing is...
I think it would be good.
Yeah?
I think we should actually get you doing it.
Come on, what year do you think?
76, I reckon. You?
Yeah, it's around then, isn't it? I'll go... Yeah, it's 77, 76, 77. I'll go 77. If you think you know, call us on 09012 212 111. Calls cost 25p from a BT landline. Charges from other providers or mobiles may vary. You must be 16 or over to enter. You can also text SFTW followed by a space, then your answer and name to 82280. Text will cost you 25p. We'll announce the winner at the end of the show, and lines close at 11:20. Simon, what are we making for starter?
Right,
Italian food.
Yeah, panzanella. This is one of my favourite salads. Lovely time of year to do it. As you sort of come into seasonal veg, bright colours, it's a nice light flavour, but it's good and substantial as well. So, first things first, to make the dressing. What we've done with the tomatoes, now we've done this many times in the past where we've blanched them, so little cross on the bottom, into boiling water, then into ice cold water, and what will happen is the skin will just peel off. So first job for you, Miss Lovejoy, is peel the skin off and then cut it into 4. And you can do it without, you could actually leave the skins on, but the thing about this is all about kind of making it nice eating. And I think that probably what's happened is this has become gentrified, because originally they reckon this was actually invented by fishermen, because they would take tomatoes, olive oil, bread to sea with them. And so when it would last quite a long time, what they needed to do then was make something that would kind of work with it, which would be this. Of course, they wouldn't skin it then. And what they used to do with the bread, when the bread was stale, they'd actually soak it in seawater. and then
nice.
the tomatoes. So it would
it's
soften
salty.
it. Yeah, but you get the salt in it, and then you actually put it in the tomato juice. So what
I've never heard of this meal before.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a really beautiful
Is it a
salad.
famous meal?
Yeah, it's kind of pretty well known. And you can do it. This is nice. We're doing it as a veg one, but you can do it with chicken. You can do it with fish. Now, next thing is we're going to take out the seeds from the middle.
How?
That's it, like that.
Is it not just easier to
That's
move
good.
my
You can do
hands?
it. Yeah, you can do it by hands, which is great. Then into there.
What, the seeds?
Yeah. Just chuck all that in there, the pulp in the middle, and then the petals, as they're known, can just go into here, and we've got loads of those done already. Then what you do is force as much of the pulp and the juice from the seeds through as you can. So you're getting that as the base.
How?
So just with a spoon and just work it through the sieve like that. So you see, you get all that beautiful juice in there.
How are Italian chefs? I mean, are they regarded in the world? Are they good? Are they like the French and the English?
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and I think that what we do in Britain is we really glamorise Italian food.
Yeah,
You know,
and the French.
Yeah, and I think that Italian food, like Spanish food for me, is the best Italian food and the best Spanish food is somewhat peasant food like this is. But it's great fresh flavours, and I think that's the kind of style of food that we like to eat.
Where do the best chefs come from in the world at the moment? Is it like football, where you've
Britain,
got La Liga?
obviously.
No, but is it though? Is it?
I think it's a hard one to judge, really, isn't it? You know, Spanish food is becoming very fashionable at the moment, so lots of Spanish chefs, like the guy that runs El Bulli, has just been voted the best restaurant in the world, so therefore he theoretically is the best chef. Then you look at someone like Heston Blumenthal, who's a genius. You've got Gordon Ramsay.
You?
Well...
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we've got the juice in there. Now, other things that go into our dressing, we've got lots of garlic, we've got some red wine vinegar and really good quality Tuscan olive oil. So the garlic, we're going to have a good few...
That's a great
cloves of
bottle.
that. Absolutely beautiful. And the
Nothing
smell
else.
of that
That
is
would look
fantastic.
great in your kitchen.
And the thing is, with Italian olive oil, it's very peppery. That's the quite nice characteristic of it. The aftertaste is fairly peppery. Now, this can be quite rough. I like the fact you get a little bit of a chunk of garlic. I'm not the biggest garlic fan of the world, but in this dish, I love it. So that all goes into our tomato juice.
People do sort of like olive oil tasting, don't they?
They do. And it's a really nice... Have you ever done one?
No.
Right, here's what you do. I'm going to get
How would I get to do that? Put my nose up in the air.
Cup your hand like that. Right, we'll put a little bit of olive oil into there.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you slurp it so you get plenty of air onto it. That's nice, isn't it?
It is nice, but it needs something else to go with it, like some food.
Funnily enough, some tomatoes, some garlic, some salt and pepper. Olive oil goes into there as well, and then red wine vinegar.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's good quality. With this dish...
Slightly spiced.
Slightly peppery.
Yeah.
It's that peppery aftertaste. So, there is our dressing. That is really simple and really beautiful. Now, back over to you. In front of you, you've got ciabatta. This is a slightly stale ciabatta. A day old. It doesn't need to be really stale, just a day old so it's dried out a little bit. Literally just tear that and chuck it all into the dressing.
How big a bit?
It's kind of mouth-sized, bite-sized chunks, really. And if you can do this in advance, this is... Yeah. Then this is the best way to do it, because what you're looking for is that it's easy eating, really. And ideally, you want to do this about an hour in advance. So what will happen is all of this dressing will soak into the bread in the same way they put it into the sea when it first came about, and it will soften the bread and also get lots of flavour in there as well. OK?
Yeah.
While you're doing that, other ingredients for our dish, we've got some chilli, we've got some capers. These are Ascaloni olives, which are these beautiful big olives from Ascaloni in Italy. One of my favourite olives, fantastic. Peppers that we've roasted, and all you do with that, put them in, remember this the other week, roast them, put them in a plastic bag, and then when you take them out, the skin will just peel off, as simple as that. Then what we've done, we've just broken those up. We've got yellow ones, and we've got red ones. Use whatever colour you want. That's great. Now, so you leave that to soak ideally for an hour, and what happens is, all of that beautiful dressing soaks into bread. Just have a little taste of that, because that on its own, you can just make a meal of that. Is fantastic, isn't that? Just delicious. So nice. And then really, to assemble it all, we do some of our tomato petals. Then we have a handful of this beautiful bread, and you've got all the garlic in there. You've got all of the dressing in there.
Really good.
Isn't it? Lovely. Just you know, just a really simple thing to do. Stale bread, simple dressing. Away you go. In go the peppers.
What is in that?
That was red wine vinegar. So your dressing is simply fresh tomato juice, garlic, red wine vinegar and a good quality olive oil. In go the capers, in go our Ascaloni olives, and then just work it gently with your hands. I have a couple more tomatoes in there. OK, and then to serve, all we do is into the bowl, Now, if you find, because depending on the bread itself, you may find that a little bit more of the dressing is absorbed. So then you can dress it with a touch more olive oil if you want, a little bit of basil on the top to finish it off, and that's it. It's beautiful, it's simple.
Pretty cheap meal as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a really beautiful thing to do. You can serve that with, like, you know, with hot chicken, with hot prawns, whatever you want.
How it go, Joe?
Yeah.
What's your top tip?
Top tip of that is, if you find that the dressing is a little bit tart when you add the vinegar to it, tart's a good word. Just a little pinch of sugar will sweeten it.
Just always makes me giggle. I'll go. That's what do you think?
That sounds, it's really sweet, isn't it? That's brilliant.
It's a really nice
These most-sized chunks have become
Well, you
rather
make
big.
those olives. Try one of those, are great. What's the, what are you making for...
Main course, we've got some
lovely.
lamb with feta, spinach and phyllo parcels.
Perfect. Okay.
Now, don't forget, all of today's recipes are available on the BBC website, bbc.co.uk/food, or text weekend to 81010 and we'll send the recipes straight to you. Now, for one of our favourite series, Danny Wallace has started his own country, but now he needs formal recognition. But from where? United Nations or the Eurovision Song Contest? It's how to start your own country.
Hello, my name's Danny Wallace.
I'm 28 years old and I live in Bow, East London. Well, kind of. You see, a little over 6 months ago, I decided to start my very own country. My journey was nearly complete, and things were really coming together. I'd claimed my flat as my territory and declared it an independent state.
I'm starting my own country. I'm just off the Saltoni.
I got thousands of citizens who were all using my currency and voting on my website. I'd even got some professional help with my flag, my passports, and my kingly attire.
43 chest. I am puffing myself up a bit there.
I'd formed a government,
The government.
drawn up my constitution, and I'd laid down the law.
I think we just need the one.
Which is?
Be good.
The only thing I had left to do was convince the rest of the world that I was a real country. I needed international recognition. I thought the best way of getting it would be to become a member of a club like the United Nations. So to find out more, I'd arranged a meeting in Brussels.
Thanks for agreeing to see me.
That's a pleasure.
I represent a very exciting new country, and I've heard that the UN, isn't averse to letting new countries in.
No. On the contrary, if you abide by the Charter of the United Nations, then of course I don't see there's much of a hindrance for you to join the United Nations.
So where should I take it from here?
Your next step would be probably to write the Secretary General to inform him about your intention to become a member of the United Nations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your support.
I got straight to work on my application.
Dear the UN.
I felt confident I was in with a good chance of being accepted.
It's a big letter.
The only thing missing to fulfill their charter was hard proof that I was a peace-loving nation. But I had a little something up my sleeve.
And offer up your seats.
I was sure my song, Stop the Muggin', Start the Huggin', would prove to the UN that I was serious about being a peaceful nation.
Pay attention to the grammar, people all over the land. Come join my happy band.
Keen to gain support for my country, I decided the song might be good enough for another vital institution.
Excellent.
The Eurovision Song Contest.
Thanks.
If Europe believed in my song, the UN would have to recognise me.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Svante.
Convinced I was onto something, I arranged a meeting with the director of Eurovision, Svante Stokselius.
I'm kind of realising that to survive as a country, I need to make friends and get on with them. And that's kind of what Eurovision is. People reaching out, nation unto nation, in a spirit of friendship and joy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Eurovision Song Contest do create friendship. Would you sing yourself, or?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
All right. So this is a really good opportunity. You will be most welcome.
Svante seemed keen to give my country a chance. I had to come up with something.
Nice, a lot to think about.
The UK's entry is supported by the BBC. Because Britain's my closest neighbour, the producers agreed to consider backing my country as well.
Just have a little hug. It's like Madonna and that thing.
Okay. All we had to do was convince them we could perform it live.
Thank you. Thanks for seeing us.
Hello.
King Danny, and these are the citizens of rock. Oh, people all over the world, all ladies, men and girls, stop the mugging and start the hugging and tidy up the world. People all over the world, all ladies, men and girls, stop the mugging and start the hugging and let your love unfurl. Vote for me. What do you reckon?
Well, that's an interesting one. And these are outfits, planned outfits.
Well, it's not a coincidence. You know, the look is by the by. We can do whatever you like, basically. If you help us get in there, we'll be your puppets. Well, should we go and we'll look forward to hearing from you?
Yeah, thank you.
That was all right. They seemed into it.
I was convinced I was making headway and that my dream of competing in the Eurovision was going to become a reality. And the good news didn't stop there.
So, hello. Very exciting news this morning. I got a letter, which is exciting enough anyway, but this letter was from the UN. Basically, they're saying, would you like to come in and discuss your application to join?
All I had to do now was make the arrangements for announcing my country to the world once I'd been accepted.
Hi, I'm starting my own country. I've just met a man who's going to rent me Leicester Square. I didn't even know you could rent Leicester Square, and I'm going to invite citizens down, and that's when I'll walk out after my amazing meeting with the UN, and that's when I'll say, ladies and gentlemen, we have a country.
I don't know, he's got some guts, that guy, don't
I
you
want to
think?
rent Leicester Square. Let's rent it.
What, next weekend?
Yes.
Just for fun?
Just stop people coming in there.
Let's do lunch in Leicester Square.
I've rented this. Could you move away, please? Yeah.
Anyway, we'll hear more about Danny's song going into the Eurovision Song Contest later on, and we'll be showing you our favourite bit of last night's Eurovision. Did you see it?
I watched only the scoring at the end. I couldn't be bothered to watch the acts, but I watched all the scoring because that was the best bit. Now, here's what else is coming up on the rest of today's show.
We relive our favourite moments from last night's Eurovision Song Contest. Ruth Badger, one of the few would-be apprentices to impress Alan Sugar, is here. And just who could be checking you out when you check into a hotel? The Real Hustle expose another scam.
All that plus Andy showcases the latest thing on the cocktail scene and dumbbells that give you big muscles with only a little workout. Did you watch Eurovision last night?
I was saying with you, I saw the score. How long did it take?
Yeah, but Wogan was funny.
It was really
actually
funny.
making me laugh out loud. He was brilliant. There's a man in a bubble. What's he doing in a bubble? It was just really
That
funny.
bizarre girl in pink dress backstage.
Yeah,
Too weird.
She won't work again. Well, not
No.
over here, anyway.
No, ever. Now, every week we ask you to send in photos of your versions of my recipes. This week, a couple of Watford boys, Tom Kemplin and Kai Easdown, said they watched Tim make the chicken curry and thought, well, if Lovejoy can do it, so can they.
True. There they are.
Oh.
I wonder if they actually sport the Glory Hornet boys of Watford. They've made a lot there for
Loads.
two of them.
What's that?
But he's a
Dinner
big old unit, the one on the left, isn't he? It looks
Yeah.
like he
I think he's doing that muscle workout
he does
thing.
put a bit of time in the gym, doesn't he?
It's cool. What's
Yeah.
that around the other guy's neck?
The other guy just didn't take his jumper off properly.
And Babs Aiken from Hove, Sussex, made full use of a bank holiday Monday by making not only the chicken curries but also pasta primavera.
That's
good
it.
work.
That's good. Big portions.
Is she in her bedroom?
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Nice though. Looks good.
Very good.
Looks
yeah.
good.
The Kievs look particularly good.
Yeah.
Big chicken breasts everyone's gone for.
Yeah, they
Massive.
have, yeah.
Good work.
Yeah.
And this week we've also gone pan-European as Brian Campbell from Lucerne in Switzerland made my blackened halibut. He said he put a load of love into the mango chutney.
That's good. I've been to Luzerne in Switzerland. It's a lovely place.
Is it, yeah?
It's absolutely beautiful, yeah. It really is.
Be fitting of a
Have
blackened
you been
halibut
to
dish.
Switzerland?
No.
Oh, it's so cool. It's just the cleanest
I've been to
place in the
Geneva
world.
once, actually, on a school trip, and we
very
couldn't
clean.
afford to go anywhere. Like a school of kind of like Scouse kids in Geneva, one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah.
Everyone came back with loads of football shirts, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so if you are going to have a go at any of today's recipes and want us to show them and you on screen, take a photo and send it to us via the BBC website at bbc.co.uk/food. Or indeed, if you've got Champions League tickets that you want to get rid of and you want to kind of let me go and my mates do the same thing.
What's that? You want to...
Champions League
Yeah.
ticket. I've got mine. My four best mates didn't get tickets. You know, in the lottery of it.
Yeah.
They've been to every home game, and it was a lottery on Friday, and none of them got a ticket.
I had a ticket, but I decided to give mine up. We didn't qualify. Right, OK, right. Our starter was Italian. It was called panzanella.
Yeah.
Is that right? And now we go for Greek main course.
We are. I
Good.
felt it would only be fitting because, of course, Athens next week. So what we're going to do, we're going to do lamb cutlets with phyllo and feta parcels.
Perfect.
Now, these are our lamb cutlets. It's spring lamb time, so it's a really lovely time of year. Nice, sweet, beautiful lamb, nice and tender. And this is what's called French trimmed. Okay?
Yeah,
You
you've
get
explained
your
this to me
butcher
before.
It's just the way that and what it basically means is that you trim back all of the meat on the bone here, and it's
Right.
really purely for presentation purposes. What you'll find is your normal cutlet will have the fat all the way around, and that's absolutely fine. This just makes for a nice presentation. If you're used to that thing where you get the little hats on the end, that's kind of what they do it for, and it just looks really pretty. Okay? We're going to griddle these. These will only take a couple of minutes to do. You want them nice and pink in the middle. Now, rather than brushing oil onto the cutlets themselves, I'm going to brush oil onto my hands and just rub the cutlets in the oil.
Get to know your meat.
Yeah, exactly. It's you know, we've done this with fillet steak, where we're oiling the meat rather than kind of oiling the pan, and it just means that you're getting contact on there. Once that's oiled, see, there isn't loads.
You're basically saying hello and quick shake of the hand.
A little bit. It's kind of making friends.
Making friends.
Yeah.
With the,
bit of salt, bit
making
of pepper.
friends with the cutlets.
Yeah. Onto there, and then onto.
What's the difference between a cutlet and a chop then? Different parts of the body?
Nothing. No,
Oh.
it's kind of different words for really. There we go. On there we go. We've got 4 there. One, of course, will be extra because we're only going to serve 3.
Yeah, we only serve 3. And you're putting rosemary with it. I don't like rosemary, as you know.
Don't you?
No, I don't like rosemary. It's the rosemary and coriander, the 2 things I don't like. But why does rosemary always go with lamb, apple with pork, mint with lamb? Who decides that? Why does that happen? Is it just a traditional thing, do you think? Or do you think they actually do help each other?
I think they do go. I think that they do kind of complement the flavours. And it's weird when you come across, say, somebody like you who doesn't like rosemary, then suddenly you think, well, does it really have to go with it? Because what would you just not have a herb at all? Would you go something like thyme? Would you go...
I just would go without the herb on the lamb. Yeah, but everyone cooks lamb with rosemary, don't they? So.
Yeah, because I think it's a really beautiful thing. And a really nice thing to do with rosemary, if you actually griddle some of the rosemary as well, the smell that comes off.
Yeah, but that's the thing I don't like is the smell.
Really?
Yeah.
Great for headaches. Good way of getting rid of
it gives me a headache. It does. It's like those car air fresheners. They give me headaches. They smell like rosemary. Anyway, okay, right. I'm a little strange. But...
So, the phyllo parcels, what we've got. Greek feta.
Yeah.
A little pinch of cinnamon.
Yeah.
An egg. Some dill, which you like.
Yeah.
And some spinach.
Yeah.
All you need to do, Tim, is just roughly crumb the feta in there.
What's feta made of? Is it cow?
It's ewe's milk. Don't have it kind of too small in there.
Oh.
And they reckon that the best feta is actually made with Bulgarian ewe's milk, which is quite weird, even though it's kind of known as Greek. And the Dutch, until recently, could also call their feta. Now they have to call it Dutch feta because the Greeks have now kind of got it their own kind of label on it, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
Which is good. So in goes the feta, and the lovely thing about Greek feta is it's nice and moist. It actually means to cut because when they make it, they're kind of cutting the curds and whey all the time. That's what they do. Keep crumbling. Right then, in goes a little bit of cinnamon. In goes the egg. Do you want to chop a bit of dill? Do you want to rip it? Knife skills good today.
I think we'll rip.
Rip today.
Rip.
Let's rip.
I kind of like.